guys. I say guys too much. Hopefully you guys can see me. Hopefully it's all. And I was just doing a check of the of the webcam. I wasn't trying to punch any of you guys in the face. Welcome to today's stream, guys. It's roster reviews. It's Friday. I'm sure no one's working weekends. I don't know. Maybe some of you do, but it's your time to relax. Submit a roster review. If you want one, guys, fill in the form that's linked. It's in the pinned comment. We'll try and get through as many as possible today. Obviously, if you don't want to wait, then obviously you can skip the queue through membership, super chats, and all of that. But as always, guys, I'd recommend you save your money. Spend it on yourself. Today's been a pretty good day for me. How have you guys been doing? Hopefully, all right. I need to do my Colosseum today, but we're gonna do that off stream. That'll be pretty fun. Now that we are just going by the previous form that we had, if you guys want to see where you are on the current queue, follow this link. I'm going to post it in the chat now for you guys to have a look at. It's just here. So if you want to see where you are, it's on there. Now the last stream I haven't, or have I? Oh no, I have. Ignore me, guys. I was going to say I haven't updated it. There's actually a last tab that I added called Link to Review, and I've been updating it as we go along. So if you guys missed the stream and don't want to go through the actual stream time codes, maybe you don't want to give me extra views, you can check the spreadsheet, and I put a link there as well. Guys, I'm just joking about the views. It's more just for if you guys want to review your review like in a couple of months and see differences, or if you get reviewed more than once and you don't want to try and work out which stream it was in, that's the easiest way for you guys to see how they've gone. So we've got a few reviews to do today. Just a heads up, guys, no more videos until next Tuesday. I'm trying to take it a bit more slow so the quality goes up. So don't expect daily uploads, but yeah, next video should be penciled in for next Tuesday. The first review today is going to be for Ash519. And they want a farming plan review. Oh, there's no info other than farming plan. I don't know how. I don't know. I feel like if you guys are asking for farming plan reviews, it'd be nice to have an idea of what you're farming, unless it's like a brand new account. This makes sense. Yeah. I would like to make videos every day, but one, that's so time consuming, and then burn out and I disappear for a few months. And I'll be honest, there's only so many times you can make the same video, right? And especially because new characters aren't in, all the modes for us to go around and mess around. Like Colosseum characters and all of this. If they were being released like normal, I would have more of an incentive to mess around and find counters, but that's just not possible. So expect when they come out in a couple of weeks into the main game, there may be quite a lot of uploads that week while I go ahead and try and figure something out. But yeah, in terms of the actual videos, I feel like I've this week set like a baseline for the quality, and people seem to be pretty happy with that. So we're just gonna keep on pushing until we get to that. So if I'm not happy with it, it's not gonna be posted. All right, guys. So yeah, first one is Sleeping Ninja, and they want a farming plan one. Malls unlocked. That's pretty cool. I'm wondering, it's annoying I can't see, if they have any more not datacrons, lightspeed tokens left. Because that would be pretty cool. So guys, if you are putting in for the reviews, or if you're just in the chat and you have a review come up, let me know if you got any tokens, because we can also discuss what would be good ones to apply. Because lightspeed 3, well, it's not 3, but lightspeed tokens in general are really nice if you use them wisely. I mean, if you, for example, with this account, if you was like, let's use that on Luminara, I don't know if I would ever say that's good. I think there's always gonna be better. But that's something we can talk about at a later point. So they want a farming plan review. Well, firstly, they've got more. Even at 4 stars, 60. I'm pretty sure 65, I want to say, is gear 12. Or is it 60? I think it's between 60 or 65 that you go to gear 12. I know 75 is relic. So, the gearing's kind of done. At 4-star, you can go up to what? Relic 3? Relic 4? I can't remember which one it is now. But you can still go to relics with them at 4-star. Obviously, because of relic deltas, unless more is 7-star, as you guys will be probably well aware, if you're taking a relic 8 team, you're just going to crush it, regardless of how good the team is. Especially from defensive versus offense, right? But this is good progress. I'm curious if you actually have a team for more built. I mean, what GP are we? 9 million. Firstly, do you have Starkiller? That's the first thing we need to be thinking about. And the question's going to be... Am I sorting... I don't know why. Right, hold on, guys. Let me do this. There we go. Doesn't look like it. Is there really no Starkiller in this account? Yeah, I don't know if I like the Delta. Yeah, there's no Starkiller. That's interesting. There's definitely good things and bad things about it. I've enjoyed TB. Not that I've been doing waves this TB because of Conquest, but when I did them the last couple, so much quicker and cleaner. That is a good thing. But there's definitely some times where it's a bit lame. No Starkiller. I'm going to assume there's no Stranger, right? Because... Oh, I can't type, guys. Yeah, no Stranger, no Starkiller. I guess in this case, the best use of Maul is probably going to be your Seer team. Why not? Seer, Malicos. I mean, that could be somewhat interesting. I don't really know what you can do with Maul here. Shin's at Relic. I mean, that's a Lightspeed token, but that's a good use. I feel like we need more relic levels. Even though you're 9 mil GP, and nowadays that's not like it's super high. We're in the world of 15, 16 mil accounts being like the higher end these days. 9 million isn't what it was a few years ago, but with relic deltas being a thing, yeah, we have a few teams we need to fill out more than ever. It's not that teams are unusable at low relics. It's just if you want to do well in Grand Arena territory battles and territory wars, if you care about that mode, then definitely having some more relic levels could be quite good. Because all these teams that are sub relic 5 at a minimum, you cannot place on defense now. Because they are just going to get rolled over big time. So I feel like before we say, should you farm this character or that character, I feel like we should stop and think, what teams need finishing? First thing I'd always recommend you guys now, due to relic deltas, look at your JML team. I know JML's not the best GO, and I'm sure we can all agree on that. But I don't know why it's a thing. His lead special, the protection damage one, the true damage ability, is affected by relic deltas. I don't really understand why, because true damage is based on jet. It's a weird one, but yeah, it's affected by relic deltas. So if we have a look at your Jedi team, Cal will be okay. R7 really for the main teams you're going to be running in general. R7 for now is fine until you get to like K1, K2, and then you will need to bump teams up to R8. If you're 1 or 2 relic levels below the teams you're attacking, you're probably going to be okay. As soon as you go 3 or 4, that's when you're going to struggle, unless it's like a nailed on counter. But if we have a look here, I mean, Jedi Knight Revan's going to get a big loss there. Hermit Yoda's fine. JML's obviously JML. Jedi Knight Cal will be okay. I would say JML is a good candidate. I'm not saying it's the best team, but it's a good candidate to have the team at R7 minimum. At least do Jedi Knight Revan, which wouldn't be bad, because I know Jedi Knight Revan's going to go with the new Statil. Shan, who's releasing end of this Conquest cycle. But I don't think you're going to have her anyway. And if you do Jedi Knight Revan now, you're preparing for later. So there's like a Two birds with one stone sort of thing. Revan, Malik, lovely, but that is obviously Leviathan requirements. Tarkin's obviously very good. I'm curious, did you at least do... Yeah, Scorch, that's beautiful. If you care about Grand Arena, I would say apply Scorch Omicron here. Because you're going to get so much more value in 3s and 5s. If you have that. Would 100% recommend. And he's R9. So that's nice. Ray, I mean, I would say for now, again, leave everyone R7 around about is where you want to be. How's your QA modded? Speed. She's fast. That's nice. Okay. Yeah, she's looking pretty good. She's looking pretty good. Malicos needs higher relics. I said before changes, and I'm going to say again now. Because of how important Malicos is to so many counters, especially if you aren't unlocking the Stranger or unlocking the new Maul or any of these sorts of things. And if you don't have Starkiller especially. He's needed for so many off-meta counters. Like, and if you don't have him R8 at a minimum, I know it's expensive, but if you don't have him there, you are going to struggle. Like, taking him to R8 is going to increase your chances of winning astronomically. So yeah, I would 100% recommend bump him up. It's going to affect your Grand Arena a bunch. Anyone else? I don't really see. I mean, Treya. That's debatable. I'd say R5. You're probably okay. Teams you don't need to worry about relics. Phoenix. It's really teams like Troopers, Phoenix. Night Sisters don't necessarily need them if you have them. Zori team doesn't really need them if you have them. Because all of these, the damage isn't necessarily coming from the characters. It's more, the other routes like exposes and all of this, which does bypass relic deltas. So that's always nice. Now in terms of what I would recommend, I feel like going for Balin is not a bad idea here. I feel like that's not a bad idea. You guys may or may not have seen a video I put out this week, yesterday, about Balin and how he's actually pretty cool on offense. Yeah, I mean, Relic 3, almost 7 stars. Relic 1, 4 stars, and the 2 Night Sisters and Thrawn, done, beautiful. And where's Thrawn? Thrawn is not an Ewok, he's an Empire. Okay, yeah, it looks like you're doing it anyway, but going for Balin would be a really nice for your account. But what I would say is, like with everything else, if you're going for a really good team, relic them up. I'm not saying go to R9, especially at 9 million GP account. But make sure at least Balin goes up to R7. Because obviously you're going to have his requirements. Shin and Marek are going to be there. But Balin, I feel like you have a habit of leaving characters at R5. And Balin needs to go up. Big time. Especially because if you're using him, he's going to be taunting, taking all the damage. You don't want him to die. Because of low relic levels. Now, in terms of what I'd farm after Balin, I don't even know if I can really recommend you what to farm. It's not that there's nothing for you to do. I mean, Lord Vader would be good because you have the clones. It looks like you've done Jedi Master Mace Windu, right? Almost. I mean, you've got Jocasta. You got the clones done. You haven't got Lord Vader already, have you? And I'm just blind. Let me go double check. No, you don't. But you do have a decent amount of GLs there. But I did notice you've got, what, two of the clones done. I feel like finishing the clones, doing Jedi Master Mace Windu, maybe Lord Vader as your next big character wouldn't be a bad idea. Because he always gets good Datacron sets come around. And anything debuff related, now also buff related, just makes him so much better. Bane's looking nice. I'm not sure about that. You could have saved that Omicron, but it is what it is. Good health, decent speed. Everything is health. Beautiful. That's looking pretty good. Nice. Okay, so Bane is looking good. Who do you have to go with Bane? You You have some Sith. What I would do is go through your roster, pick one Sith, and just invest in them to either R7 or 8, which you've probably already done, and just save them as your Bane Sith, because in the end, it doesn't matter who he has in the team. He just needs someone to die and give him the power, the added bonuses. So for me, for example, I use Sith Trooper. Sith Trooper's R9 because of the fleet. But obviously, you can use anyone. I would obviously recommend don't run Darth Revan. Malik in special occasions, mainly against like OP Datacrons. Bastila you don't want to run there. Malgus you don't want to run there. Palpatine you don't. Vader's hit or miss. He could be quite good there. Traya obviously not. Sidious is a good one. If you apply the TW Omicron, you get some extra value. Maul would be good. Duke is quite common, but if you ever think of running Trench, obviously you don't want to do that. But just get one, take him up to R7 or 8, preferably R8, because it does make a big difference, especially if Bane is in the lead. Because remember, guys, if he's in the lead, whenever they die, they're going to be giving some extra stats based on the relic levels. So you're going to get an additional 5% max health, max protection, and offense for each relic amplifier. So obviously, if you're at relic 8, that is a big difference compared to, say, relic 5. And that can honestly be the difference between you one-shotting, Glat or Rey or whoever you're using Bane against. But yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a case of me saying, farm this, farm that. I think you need to go back and just think, where am I going wrong? And you know what? I'm going to go bring up here, guys, your .gg. I want to see how your offense is doing. Because we can see if the Relic Deltas is actually making a big difference here. So give me 1 second here, guys. Let me do this. Beautiful. Alright, you're going to see my desktop for a second, but that's fine. Let's put this here. Alright, so this is Sleeping Ninja's profile. Obviously on .gg. Erodium 2, it looks pretty steady. I mean, this is quite a healthy trend. Remember, guys, unless you're well above where you should be, aim for 2 wins and a loss. And over the season, if you're where you should be, just understand that it's probably going to be very close to 50, maybe 55% win rate. Because if you're losing way more, then you're obviously pushing up too high. And if you're winning everything, you're clearly in the wrong bracket. Whether that's skill or roster related is up to you guys to decide. So if you have a look at your last GACs, let's see what went wrong. So you did attack, you lost to Lord Vader here. I think that's just a case of not really either researching or paying full attention to current metas. I don't know why Scout Troopers in there, that's interesting. Maybe they didn't have the whole team. But yeah, anything Lord Vader related with ramping offense kind of slows down Bo, especially if you don't have a very good Kron there. Kylo and Jabba. Yeah, okay, but I want to see how your defenses do. I want to see where those Relic Deltas come in. This is not a very good layer team. I would change that up. Okay. That's fine. Bane's Bane. I mean, your opponent, and I'm not seeing anything too crazy at the moment. Yeah, this is... I understand wanting to set clones, even though they're low gear. Not in Erodium. I would honestly just suggest do Tarkin lead if you want. Scorch, this guy's Clone Trooper, and then just put in any other. Like, even put Stormtrooper if you have Stormtrooper. We'll go have a look at your relics in a second, but changing that up would be massive there. I'm not going to spend too long looking at the Grand Arena because obviously you wanted farming plan advice. But it's just to reinforce the point on relics. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Yeah, QA's just getting beaten there pretty bad. Okay, here's a good example. Wampa at R5, right? If you had this team a little bit higher relics, maybe had a good Datacron on, even with the Omicron, this does start to have the occasional fail because of relic deltas. So that's really the first one, although very minimal. And round 3, let's have a quick look here. Nothing too special there. Okay. Like I said, I know you want advice on what to farm, like big characters and all this, but my recommendation is just fill out some of the teams you already have, make sure they're usable, because it will make a big difference. You know, there's some teams, like we said, that don't necessarily need the investment. There's some that do. The other thing I would recommend, and this is to all of you guys, if you're in a Rhodium or higher, please try to avoid setting teams with like sub gear 12. It's not going to help you. And then DCs. In your position, obviously this set, it makes sense to go for so many level 9s, which for your GP and your roster is fair. If any of you guys are watching and you're, you know, around about the 6 to say 12 million and you don't have that many high relics, 100% guys go for as many level 3s as possible. Like, I want to be seeing at least 3 rows. And this is even if you don't take Conquest seriously. Or Datacron farming seriously. Because 3 rows of level 3s is not going to take much time at all. That's like maybe 1 or 2 refreshes max a day on the Datacron node, the first one. And then that should also give you all the materials you need. Because just having the level 3 bonus on every team is going to increase your odds of winning. So that's something you can also work on. But yeah, other than that, to summarize, take up some relic levels. Balloon would be a good farm. Lord Vader would be a good farm. Jedi Master Mace Windu makes sense whether or not you think he's good or not, because you've already got Jocasta Nu. You've already got half of his Rex done to decent relic levels, and he's obviously still got raid viability. So that's what I'd recommend there. And then also just maybe do a bit of research on either counters or Omicrons, because some of them seem a little bit odd, to say the least. And then obviously Malakos. Alright, let's move on to the next review here, guys, which is going to be Mr. Boss. No, wait, it's not. Did I miss one by accident? Hold on, guys. I think I did someone. Yeah, it was actually Paul. Paul was before anyway, but we'll do them now. Just a reminder, guys, if you haven't already, please fill in the linked form. That's how you're going to get on the roster review list. It is obviously getting longer by the day. If you do want to skip the queue, you can, you know, do memberships, super chats, all of that. But I do recommend you guys not to do that, because, you know, save your money for yourself. But if you do decide to do it, it will get you a guaranteed review in this stream. All right. So let's go ahead and look at Paul here, which is going to be overall less detailed. So we'll have a look at everything here. Let me go here and let me check the checks. I think I saw you guys saying some stuff there. This conquest seemed easy. I haven't red created yet. I am very, very close though. Sector 1 was a breeze, like seriously. And the new Conquest data discs, wow. I know they're a bit bugged. And it's kind of funny watching everyone say they're bugged, but the reality is they're designed that way, guys. They're meant to they're meant to stop you from killing them, so you can actually stack the disc, the debuffs, buffs, all of this stuff if you got high relic levels, because when relic deltas come, it's going to be very quick. I, for once, am actually enjoying Conquest. Normally I hate it and it's too much of a grind, but at the moment it's feeling pretty nice to me. I feel like it's in a good space. Let's hope the next one doesn't have annoying feats. I think it's because there's not too many that just take forever to do the feats. It's feeling quite good at the moment. Okay, so first off, aero units, how are we looking? Everyone's at 70. Very nice, and we've got 4-star. You should be able to get some to 75 with the Vader event in a few days, if you haven't already got the materials and just run out of credits or something. So that's looking very nice. They are all gear 12. Obviously, when you get them to 75, they can be all relic. I can't guarantee that any advice I give on who's the best to take up is going to be necessarily useful here, because we haven't used them properly. But my first impressions, IG-90, Maul, and for me, either Asajj or Inquisitor Barriss, they're going to be the best ones to prioritize. Luke does look good. Yoda Tree does look good. But their teams aren't as geared as the others. Asajj Ventress looks really good if you have Silent Django. Inquisitor Barriss looks really good in general. And obviously Maul can be Maul. Now, in terms of your roster, 12 million GP, we have Lord Vader, Pirate King Hondo, Jabba, Sith Eternal, Rey, JML, Kylo, which is a pretty decent amount of GLs for 12 million GP. I would like to see some more R8s on them, notably Kylo and Rey. You can honestly get away with him being R7 for a while. JML, like I said in the last review, if you use him on offense and you're using him in some of the riskier counters, most notably maybe if you're doing against Lord Vader or something like this, obviously in that case, taking him and his team, if you can, to R7, R8 as a whole is very beneficial because otherwise his lead is not going to be doing what it should be. But that's looking good. Obviously, if you are interested in it, you don't have it, so don't worry. If any of you guys ever have the level 7, not the level 7, the second unique Omicron, just remember that every third relic level gives an extra stack for the shield generator, so it does make a difference. But R8's fine. You clearly did that for the last raid. Clones are looking good. What's Ben missing? Right, I would apply this because otherwise we can have a look if we have time at the Grand Arena. But this Omicron shuts down a lot of counters on defense because it's locked healing immunity. Otherwise, C can reliably deal damage here. I'm actually surprised you went for Redeemed before you went for this one, because Redeemed is the one that is a bit of hit and miss. And these days, I would say you're probably better off not applying it because it makes General Skywalker that little bit easier. Enoch and all that to R7's fantastic. Balin is there, triple Omicron. Very nice. Reaver, GI, Cal, Malicos, Stranger. Okay, not too bad. Who else are we looking at here? Give me 1 second, guys. Muzz, you need higher relic. She's very good. Darkside Ray higher relics are needed there. Darkside Ray 100% higher relics are needed there. Because she does good damage. Malgus, whatever. You guys probably know I'm not the biggest fan, but higher relics for the fleet is probably important there. Chrysanthemum, yes, 100% higher relics. Leia, higher relics. That seems to be the trend here, guys. Right, when it comes to characters like Zori, don't worry about it. Leave her there. When it comes to characters that are crucial to GLs, Chrysanthemum, Leia, higher relics are so important. Wampa, if you want to continue using the Omicron in high-ish leagues, relics matter. Crosshair, that's fine. That's whatever. Skifflander, whatever. He's not always in the teams anyways these days. If you're going to use Tusken Raider, maybe high relics are more important. Just because now, because of relic delta, someone could just come and AoE you with like an R8 team and kill you. So maybe at least R7. If it's an important defensive team. If not, then don't worry. Merrin, no investment there, which is a shame. Luthen, higher relics would be nice. If you ever set it on defense, because obviously the summon scales stats based on him, or the summoner. And then obviously it's just going to be very similar as we go down here further. How are your Datacrons looking? This is more like it. Now, I don't know if you just farmed all of these because the set was very accessible, very easy, very strong. We'll have to see if you continue to farm them down here. If you do, then that is very impressive. And this is going to allow you to punch up tremendously. Nice pick of the Focus Crons. Always do your research, guys, if you don't have like unlimited mats or refresh a bunch. If focus sets come out, just wait a week or two because they're very expensive to invest into, and just see if they're actually worth it. Because a lot of the times, they're not. Some of them are good and some of them just aren't worth it. On the flip side, though, not with this set that we just had. For example, with the new one, I don't think there's any Focus Crons at the moment for it. Or if they're even coming out, I'm not 100% sure. I know there's none in this store. But with those sorts of ones where you aren't guaranteed really good stats like you are with these ones, have a look at which of these give good stats and ignore the level 9, level 6, whatever. Because at least with these ones, you're guaranteed, 80% offense, 100% offense or defense. Or there was the one a while back, I think it was a shorty one. I can't remember. It's the one that had really high crit avoidance, which was really nice as well. So just have a look at the stats, because sometimes it's better to go for one of these, even though they're more expensive, but guarantee yourself good stats rather than RNG it. But that's more of an advice for those of you who don't have that many teams. If you have like 1 or 2 teams to run, sometimes going for the guaranteed stats is going to be better. So that's really a tip for those of you maybe in Chromium and below. Have a look at your ships. What do we have here in terms of capital ships? Oh, no, it's not capital ships. Capital ships is here. We have Leviathan, which is nice. Okay, what is going on here? No exec, no profundity, but Leviathan unlocked? That's pretty crazy. And 12 million GP. Okay, I'm not... I can't remember the last time I've actually seen something like this. I'm going to be completely honest. Normally, you at least have one of either prof or exec before you get Leviathan. It's interesting. And what is your rebel fleet? Because I'm going to be honest, your second best fleet possible would be rebels in this case. And we know what we're looking for. Do we have it? Okay, you're working on it. Get this to 7 stars. This is such a good ship. I know it works at lower, but when you're in a position where this is your best second fleet, getting up and running is so important. Okay. I'm very confused that you don't have either of the other 2 big ships, though. That's kind of intriguing, I'm not gonna lie. Also, just make sure when you're doing Leviathan mirror matches or fleet climbs or whatever, check the relic levels, because if your opponent is an R10 Leviathan and they have the Skimtar lineup that doesn't include the Interceptor or any of these, then their Leviathan will loop you even if you do the same, and it will just make it a bit of a pain. So do pay attention to that. Don't just hit auto. Overall, it's not a bad roster. There's a lot going on. Good relic levels for the most part. Some teams need some investment. I feel like it's very raid focused. Almost all your good relic levels are either... Yeah, Revan needs higher relic levels, actually. I've just spotted that. But almost all of your good relic levels are just either Journey Guide unlocks or raid teams, really. I would like to see kind of go beyond that. You know, I know a lot of you are watching and you're in similar positions, and you're probably thinking, why would I, spend the time and take JML's team to R7 as a whole when I could go and unlock another character? And more than ever, half these teams aren't that usable. I mean, where are you in Grand Arena? You're in Kyber 2. Clearly, you're a good player if you're in Kyber 2. But I feel like you could push on and on and on if you put some more effort into some of these relic levels. Because Kyber 2 is obviously still good. I mean, anyone in Kyber is a good player. But there's still levels between, say, Kyber 3, Kyber 2, Kyber 1. There's like... The players are different. And if you're going to get into Kyber 1 and stay there, that's where like the small differences make a big difference. If that makes sense, guys. In terms of the speeds, what are we looking at? Ezra 366, that's good. That's good. I would like to see higher relics here. I mean, the mods are clearly good, and that's going to be helping you a lot as well. No JMK, I can understand Cat being a bit weaker. But even if you bumped her up, you could shove her on a raid team, for example. Although that would make Balin considerably easier, but it would still help. Your mods are very clearly good. Like 329 on P8 is amazing. So that's one of the reasons why you're doing so well. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't like you to be investing more. That's something I think that should be happening. I would say if you wanna break it down easier, just start with your GL teams. You know, go Kylo, Rey to R7, Jabba, at least R7, Chrysanthemum and Leia. Otherwise, that team is going to be beaten so easily. Like, seriously, guys, it's not even going to be debatable. As soon as you come up against a good opponent with, like, good off metas at decent relic levels, they're going to see that Jabba team if you use it on defense, so I haven't checked. And they're just going to say, okay, this is easy. No matter how well they're modded, unless you have, like, an insane data cron and they're bringing nothing, you might as well give the team up for free. Because with a 3 or 4 relic delta difference, yeah, it's not looking very pretty there. So I would like to see some investment. And it's not like you don't have the resources, because you've got quite a lot of characters at R9. You know, Enoch's there, the Peridia Patrol were there. Leviathan's obviously done. All of these. So it's just something for you to think about. Just a reminder, guys, if you're just joining the stream now, we are doing roster reviews today. If you would like one, please fill in the linked form. The queue is getting longer, but that's the only way at the moment to be getting reviews. It's the fairest way. At the moment, it's done in order. Eventually, we will move on to kind of randomizing it, but that's when the list gets that long that it will take months for the queue to progress normally. Obviously, if you want to skip the queue, there are options, but I would rather you guys save your money and go spend it on yourselves. Okay, the next review is going to be Mr. Boss, and they are another farming plan. That's what? The last one was farming plan. This one was overall. Okay, it's not too bad. Farming plan ones are okay. Guys, if you put in farming plan on your review application, please put a little bit more. If you put some details. I know I put if you answered other, but just if you're watching now, just put it in there as well. Just because otherwise I could give you advice or tell you to farm something that's not even something you've even considered. So sometimes it is nice for me to see like your thought process, because we all think about things differently, guys. Let's be real. You know, I see one thing, Neutral see another. Arnold, if he ever does that, he does it very, very rarely. Everyone has a different way of looking at stuff, and every single way is good. I mean, guys, even if you want advice, just go to your guild and say, can everyone just look and see one thing that you should change? And I'm sure you'll get at least 20 or 30 different answers. Like, there will be common things everyone will say, but people see different things. Some people will be more focused on your relic levels, some will be more focused on your mods, some will be more focused on your mod sets. It's not all just about speed, guys, despite what we're told. There's so many characters that need more than just speed. Okay, this is a 7 million GP account with Leia at R9. Okay, not a bad use of an R9. It's your best Galactic Legend, so I'm not against that. Balin's unlocked, that's pretty cool. Balin is a good character. Okay, guys, look at this. This is a 7.5 million GP account. They are Kyber 5, so they just got promoted. I don't know if it's updated or not. I don't know if you got relegated or promoted. I'm assuming you went up. So this is a Kyber account. The last one was 12.5 mil, and it was also a Kyber account. But first impressions, guys, the other account was obviously bigger, and I haven't looked at the mods, so we're not going to compare there. But I'm liking the difference, and the difference here is those key characters have been invested in. Now, I don't know if you did that prior to Relic Delta changes, but that would interest me to know. Like, you can see, it's not every character. That's not what we're saying, guys. But we're saying if there's a team that is pivotal towards your success defensively or offensively, the relic levels need to go up. Otherwise you're just not going to get the results that you want. So seeing Darkside Ray R7 for a 7 million GP account is very, very nice. Obviously, if you was to go on and push on and play for a few more months, years, whatever, go up to say 12 or 13 mil, then that's when we start suggesting R8. Because that's where she's really going to shine. She is a fantastic character. Offense and health modding is pretty good. 324. I mean, that's good speed for an offense set. That is good speed for an offense set. And if you are someone who's interested in being more efficient with your mods, always pay attention to your datacrons, because if there's ever a set, and you guys might remember the Darkside race set that came out a few seasons ago, the one that made it just take loads of bonus turns and all of that annoying stuff. When there's a set like that that basically negates the speed outside of mirrors, that's where you can strip her mods for 3 months, or now. It still works out 3 months, but yeah. You can strip the mods, change them to something slower but more effective, and then you can move those faster mods onto someone else temporarily, and there's a good chance that if you're farming mods every day, you could probably get another mod set, not equal, but within the range of being good in that 3 months. And then you get to really utilize other characters at the same time. That's probably the best way to go about it, so you can move your mods around. Don't think of it as when you unlock a character, that mod set's staying on them forever, which I've seen so many people do. I'm going to be honest, guys. So many times I look at an account or check someone's account out, and you can tell they modded when they were 4 mil GP, and they're now like, what, 8, 9, 10 million GP, and it's the same mods. Okay, for Merin, all tenacity is good if you're using it for the jabber counter. But yeah, nice. You haven't done speed. Fantastic. My recommendation here is potency is good on the cross. It's not bad. Protection, I would say if you're that bothered, these are the sorts of mods you want for Merin. Like, don't even go for speed. You want like double health, double protection, tenacity, potency. This is a fantastic mod. Crit avoidance on the arrow. I'm telling you guys, it's a game changer. Like, this is a good mod, by the way. Tenacity is really good. Defense, offense. And I don't know who you would necessarily use this on outside of Merin, but crit avoidance on Merin is a game changer. Just to give you guys an idea, she does have crit avoidance in her mastery. She's at 13.5%. Right? And if you had an R8 and with a crit avoidance arrow, that's what I had last Grand Arena, I think I'm sitting at like a 60, 65%, something like that, for crit avoidance. And that's literally the difference between being able to like beat a QA team or someone like that, which you guys have seen me do on the channel quite a few times. If you're newer to the channel, then maybe you haven't seen that, but we've run that pretty successfully in Grand Arena. I think we're like 5 for 7 or something like this. But that all comes down to the crit avoidance. It makes a massive, massive difference. So Merin, crit avoidance is really nice because you don't want her to die. Everyone else, they can die. They can do whatever you want. Merin, you want her to live. Guys, I see there's a few people join the stream. So if you do want a review, fill in the linked the linked form. I've got the word then. It's in the pinned comment. Reviews do take 20 to 30 minutes, guys. We like to take our time. It's not that I'm trying to bore you guys, is I like to go really in detail and discuss things so you guys can watch it and be like, oh, I hadn't have thought about that. Because if I scroll down and I just said, oh, Jedi Knight Revan's whatever, are you really going to take that in? And I feel like you guys will benefit more from the deeper discussion. And it also gives you guys, although you are quiet today, guys, what's going on, a chance to also have some input. Sometimes there's things that I miss that you will see. And that's the brilliant thing about roster reviews. We're all looking at it together. Right, we already spoke about Balin. Yeah, you can get away without applying this. You don't really need it. You don't really need that unique on Macron. Right. Great Mothers. Nice. Night Trooper, nice. Leia, R7. That's the big difference. That's the big difference. You're further behind in GP than the previous account. This isn't me having to go at them. But you can see the difference straight away, everyone, when you're watching. You look at this roster. Yes, they have less, but what they have is better geared up. I'm not asking for you all to turn around and just R8 every team. I'm just saying if you have a team that's good, take them up to whatever is considered a good bench hold for you. And in this case, R7 is around about right. If you're like 3-4 million GP or lower, just taking teams to R5 is the bare minimum. And actually what we all aim for. But obviously as we progress in the game, the relics also have to as well. All right. Yeah, look at that. Just saw. I can see you guys submitting for the reviews, by the way. So thank you so much for that. Okay. I'm curious. The one downside when I do these through the forms, I can't interact with you guys and see what you're actually farming or taking interest in. I'm really getting a bit of a territory war vibe here. I don't know if you guys are getting that as well. Like, I've seen Poggle's Omicron. I've also seen Phasma's Omicron, which, if you see Star Killer teams, that I don't know if it works against a stranger, and even if I did know, I wouldn't be saying that on stream when he's just released. Because, yeah, I'm not going to say anything. Whether I know or I don't know, it's irrelevant. But when there is no stranger, Phasma absolutely crushes Starkiller. Like, it's not even close. I'm going to see, guys, if I actually have the footage. I recorded it on my phone the other day during TW. So, guys, give me 1 second. Because if I can pull this up on the stream, I'm going to show you guys this. Because Phasma is honestly S tier. And the best thing about it, guys, is I didn't even play this properly. It's not that I played it wrong, per se. It's just I made loads of misplays and it literally didn't even matter. Wait, is this the Phasma one? No, it's not that one. It's not that one. What's this one? Not that one. Not that one. Is it this one? If I can't find it, I'm not going to show you. I'm not going to show you, but I think I can find it. I've got loads of footage for something else I'm making. That's why it's really difficult for me to find it. Aha, here we go, guys. Okay. Just give it 1 second. I'm just going to airdrop it to myself. And then I'll bring it up on the stream. Phasma in general. No, Phasma in general. Not even Focus Datacron. This has been a thing for quite a long time. I think I actually have a video on it as well. Okay, here we go. Let me just make sure that it's muted, because I think it has copyrighted music. Alright. Let me just make sure this is the right one, guys. 1 second. It looks like it. Alright, there we go. Okay. Here you go. I'll play this on the stream so you guys can see. So, this is with the focused, but you actually, I don't know if it is. I don't think there's even any data. Yeah, there's no datacons on this one. It's on my other account. I didn't have datacons. So this is showing it without any DCs involved. Basically, you bring Hux, you make sure that he was at advantage, and then even if Mara has the Omicron, she will never take that turn. Kill order is removing Mara, then removing Visas, then you remove Starkiller. You can see I don't even play it correctly here, guys. This is like, this is not how to do it. If they had better mods and everything, it would have been a little bit tough. I just kind of did my own thing. But also Relic Deltas does make a bit of a difference. But as you can see, without showing you the whole thing, it's really easy. They just don't take any turns. Now, I'm not going to say whether this works or not against Stranger variants, but if you are facing the Palpatine Mara Jade ones, Phasma Omicron is so good, and I don't know why people said on defense. So I'm glad I saw that, and now you guys have seen that. There is actually a video somewhere on my channel. You can go find it. It's a couple of years old now. In that video, I actually go over how to do it, and not just click the wrong buttons. But as you can see there, even if you mess around, it's still pretty good. Obviously, that was non-Datacron to non-Datacron. If they have Datacrons, you need to bring some. The gist of it is Hux needs to be there, Crew needs to be there, and Phasma obviously, and just make sure you always have advantage. Because the second you lose advantage, they gain turn meter, they train you. If you keep advantage the entire time, Mara will not take a single turn. And then there's one last thing, it's just making sure your mods are good enough. Because you do gain, I mean, this isn't a Phasma talk, but you do obviously gain the turn meter. You just need to do a very quick calculation. Make sure that Phasma would outspeed them. Because if she doesn't, and you do the pass the turn with Hux, you will lose advantage, and then it just messes it all up. So turn order matters, mods matter a little bit, but it works really well. So I recommend you guys go check that video out. But yeah, it looks like you're a little bit interested in TW. I don't know if you are, but obviously you're a smaller account. This is Lightspeed bundle, so that's fine. So that is something to look out for. I know not everyone enjoys TW. For me, I'm not saying it's the best mode. I do enjoy it. I think the reason I enjoy TW is mainly because I enjoy messing around and trying different counters. And TW is literally the best mode to do that in, especially if you're in a smaller guild. Because there's like so many teams, so many possibilities, and you can really try and see what works and what doesn't. That's why I enjoy it. But I understand from a rewards perspective, it's not the best at all. Let's just have a quick speed check. And did we look at the fleets already? Well, let's do the fleet check first. Was it this one or the last one? No, it was the last one. No exec Leviathan. There is an exec here. Territory is chill. We're pretty chilled in R1 as well. Like, obviously, we still take it seriously, but it's not like how you would expect territory wars to be in the biggest guilds. It's nice. I do hope one day territory wars become like more important, so people actually invest in them. You like territorial more than GAC? I rate that. I think if 2 guilds take it seriously, because I put out a poll on the channel the other day and it said, which mode do you think takes the most planning? And everyone basically said TB, which is understandable if you're a TB officer, or Grand Arena. For me, if you want to know what I think, if 2 guilds take it seriously, there's nothing that takes more planning than TW. Because you have to coordinate so many counters. You need to coordinate everyone's attacks. There's so much to it. For me, it's a nice game mode. I prefer it because of the theory crafting possibilities. But the rewards just don't really back it up. It's more of like a guild flex at this point. Alright, Executor's done. And what are we looking at for Rebels? Guys, this is like the new standard. Every account I go on, I'm checking to see if you have B-Wing at least unlocked. Because it's a banner sniper. And if your opponent takes in a bad fleet, they will lose. Okay, fleets are checked. We don't need to look anything else there. In terms of mods, Echo, 366. Now you have got good speed here with a full set, but if you're new to the channel, I do sometimes recommend broken mod sets. These are mod sets that maybe you have like a defense primary and an offense mod that you just upgraded because it was gold and had 5 speed initially. I don't really recommend people to sell those mods, even though you won't really find a use for it, just because the likes of Gideon, the likes of Echo, these sorts of characters, they just need to take the turn. This is unresisted, unavailable, all of this stuff. So you don't necessarily need the potency for that. Actually, sorry, my apologies, guys. The actual healing immunity can be resisted, but the buff dispel obviously can't. Yes, B-Wing is so good. And anyone who's like on a new account, B-Wing should be the first farm. Like, hands down, it's so good. Such a good ship. And especially now that upgrading ships isn't tied behind star levels, there's no reason not to unlock it and just use it. It's also going to make those fleet nodes a lot easier as well. But yeah, Echo's one of those characters I do recommend. But you got him pretty fast with this set. And potency mods are one of the sets that aren't used as much, so that's fine. Balin's nice and fast from the looks of it. He does need that. Lovely. 341 is very good. Decent relic levels. Obviously, Balin and his team do benefit from higher relics, like Relic 8, Relic 9, but in your position, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. You've got Master Qui-Gon and friends up. I would recommend the Omicron if you enjoy TW. It is pretty good for that team. Drogon is looking pretty good. Obviously, we already spoke about Rey and all of that. How fast is your Morgan, actually? 324 is very nice. I would... you have got tenacity. You have got some tenacity. I don't know whether I go defense or tenacity set. I think you can go either or, but this is very nice. And Morgan. Is regular character gear levels still locked behind star levels? No. So now everything is moving towards relics. So as long as you have them, I think it's 3 or 4 stars. Might be 4 stars. You can take characters straight to relic 3 or relic 4. That's like the limit. And then as you star them up, you can take them up even further. Which is also nice for older characters. One day, when I get the time, I'll do a video on like the best characters to relic but not star. Because there's a couple of characters that you can leave at like R4 and just not star up and you're not going to be punished. Hint, Zori's probably one of them. Like I mentioned with Relic Deltas, teams that do exposed damage or anything like that don't really... As long as you go first, they don't really suffer too much. So if you bring those Datacrons with the Turn Meter, you have the Omicrons, all of that, they still function very well, even at low relics. And it means you don't have to spend more time farming them, which is always nice. Okay, the speeds are good. The speeds are good for the most part. I do feel like there's a drop-off. But it's not too bad. I was really looking to see if there was sections where there's like 3 or 4 characters from one team. You guys know I don't like seeing that. And for the most part, I'm not. I would like to see both Darth Revan and Jedi Knight Revan higher relic. At least R7. Characters like Echo, you can leave them low relic, that's fine. Bad Batch team, for the most part, isn't... I don't know how it performs with Relic Deltas, because I've not really used it much lately, but for the most part, it's not a relic-intensive team. At least not Echo. I'll have to look into that, because I don't know if it will have the same problem as JML, or I don't know if it's going to base on Hunter. That I'll have to look into, but for the most part, Echo, that team don't need the super high relics. Gideon, he's another character you can get away without relics. The only issue is with Datacrons, if you don't have characters that can, you know, use Datacrons, you are going to be in a bit of a bad position. Which you have a few. I would like to see you farm some of this set. I know it's not the best set in the world, but at least having, you know, a row of level 6s for your GP could be the difference between a win and a loss in Grand Arena. And you are in Kyber, so Datacrons do matter. I know I keep on saying it, but I keep on seeing new people in the stream. I can see the numbers going up. So if you guys are just joining the stream now and you'd like a review, there is a link, in the pinned comment. You can follow that, fill in the form, and that will put you on the list. There is a little bit of a wait, and we do spend quite a while on reviews, so don't expect it today. If you really don't want to wait, you can join as a member or do something like that, but I always recommend you guys save your money. It's up to you. The option's there if you want it, but if you can wait, I would recommend you do. Because a lot of the time, and I always say this, guys, you learn a lot from looking at other people's rosters. It's like anything and creative in any sense. And I'd consider roster building somewhat creative. If you've made it yourself, it's very difficult to see the flaws. But when you look at someone else, even if they're in the same position as you, you'll be like, oh, this is not good. This is so forth, so like this, right? And by looking at other people's rosters on the stream, you might see some similarities with yours. I think we've actually done the Great One before. I think they had They did the membership stuff last time around. I remember that. So let me go ahead and pick the next one. I was just scrolling down. I wasn't actually. Someone. Hey guys, this is my account. I'm not, I know my roster code. I'm not doing that. And they even did an anagram of my name. That's crazy. I'm not bringing up my account. we don't need to look at my account today. You thought you'd fooled me. Alright, Clone Burrito. We haven't done them yet. Just double checking. No. So, this one is a farming plan. Burrito Express. I don't know if they're in the stream today. Normally we see them. I don't know if they're here today. Close to finished profundity, but I really want to put a lot of effort to this conquest. And some bounty hunters, and Jedi Knight Cow, and whatnot for excess resources. Guys, I've spoken about this before. If you don't have Cow, and you don't have Bow, or one of those is missing. Yeah, you got to respect it. It was good. I just know my ally code off by heart, so that's why I knew. I saw it coming. You need one of those. And the good thing is, with the new Lightspeed tokens that are releasing based on the challenges, if you want to go for Bow, now is probably the best time ever, because we're getting Beskar Mando taken to Relic. That's one of the tokens. You get a Mandalorian token on top of that, which you can use for IG and Grogu, which for some reason I always thought they were a droid, but they're not, which is a little bit of a shame. And then you're also going to get another token, which is for Keller and Beck, meaning you only need to farm Thrawn and Paz. Well, no, it's not Thrawn, is it? Is Thrawn? No, Thrawn is Balin. Sorry, guys. My apologies there. It's Quebec, Paz, IG12 and best commander. Yeah, you don't need Thrawn. Ignore me saying Thrawn. I was thinking of Balin then for a second. Did I do yours a while back? I don't know. I might have done. Let me have a look. This is where you are. You are. Oh, I think I might. Yeah, my apologies. I've actually somehow skipped yours by one. I'll do you next because I've just started this one. But yeah, sorry about that. I'm gonna fill in so I don't make that mistake again. I think everyone else is okay. Oh, thank you for the sub. Appreciate it. No, there's always stuff to talk about. Always, unless you're literally like 60,000 GP. Yeah, I do apologize, Venomous. I somehow skipped over yours, literally by one. So I'll finish this one with Burrito, and then I'll go back to your one straight after. But thank you for highlighting that. And I think you've been paying attention to the sheet. That's why you picked up on it, right? Okay. Alright, yeah, yours is saying that. Okay, that's one. I'll finish this one for now. Okay, so anyway, yeah, you're basically going to get bow for free. So any new account, any mid-game account, you need to be going for bow as soon as you can. 2.5 million, there's always stuff to talk about. We'll probably be end up talking about Conquest or whatever you ask to look at when we get to it. Yeah, so back on track. Going for bow is always good. I think this account may even have bow. We're going to have a quick look. We do. Nice. And she's obviously pre-Omicrons, which is pretty good. You don't necessarily need this one. You can get away without it. But if you have it, that would be nice, which you do in this case. Just remember, if you have bow, if you have cow, it's going to open up better guilds for you to get into. Similar to how in the past, if you had cam-ready clones that got you into a good guild, if you had Geos for Tambor that got you into a good guild, and even more recently, if you had Reaver or Reaver Ready. These are just criteria good guilds are looking for, and at the moment, I don't know if it's changed that much in the last few months, but for the most part, those middle to good guilds, not to say anyone lower than that isn't good, but the ambitious guilds for their GP brackets are normally looking to do Zepho or Mandalore because the rewards pay for themselves over time. So that is obviously a good thing for you to do, or any of you watching to aspire to do. Profundity is obviously close to finishing. If you're going to do Profundity, make sure you have that lovely B-Wing up and running, because you're going to be losing the best Rebel fleet without it. So having that is important. Raven's Claw needs a little bit of work. B-Wing, obviously you want a Relic Drogon for that. Profundity will be good for your account, especially if you have, I think I saw it there. Especially if you have Rogue One, gear this up. This is a fantastic ship. And the reason I say gear it up is because it also does good damage. It's not like it's a non-damaging ship. There's a few characters low gear. I can also see who you've unlocked with all the Lightspeed tokens, which is also fine. Darth Revan, Malek, Malgus, nice. You got a core R9 on a decent team. And at 6 million GP, having in Chromium 2, which isn't that bad, all things considered, for 6 mil GP. But if you can have one or two teams at that R8, R9, at this point, that in itself is going to win you the occasional Grand Arena. Because people will underestimate it, and especially if Relic Delta changes, it can be a match winner. Guys, give me 1 second. I'm just going to check my phone here. Alright, we're all good. Okay. Starkiller would like to see at least R7 now. They are. So I'm actually changing my schedule. I mentioned it earlier about the videos. I'm trying to keep the content up and also not burn out, because obviously my normal job is quite a lot of hours. Editing is quite a lot of hours. Streaming takes up a lot of time. So I'm just trying to find the best and most flexible sort of routine for uploads and all of that. So don't expect daily content, but hopefully the quality goes up and you guys can enjoy that instead. That's kind of the plan. So I don't know about weekend streams. Sometimes I will do them. Sometimes I won't. There might be one tomorrow. But yeah, we're just trying to get consistency going above everything else. But thanks for the question, because I've been meaning to talk about that for a while. Okay. Bane. I don't know why everyone's so in. You don't have any Galactic Legend. I don't know why you did that one. I'm gonna be honest. Seems like a bit of a waste, yeah. Yeah, this I'm trying to. To put it into context, the Balin video I made yesterday, to come up with the idea, it took me maybe 1 or 2 hours of like going through different video ideas. And editing wise, I think I sat down and edited for maybe 3 hours. It doesn't seem like it, but there was a lot to cut out, and I did like 2 or 3 versions and had to rewatch them all a few times. So it is quite time consuming. And I've got a new project that you guys will see next week because I didn't have enough time to do it for today, which is even more intensive, but you guys are going to enjoy that. So I'm not going to do any spoilers. But because of that, and I'm quite happy with the quality of that and the more recent stuff, it just means there won't be daily videos. I would rather give you guys good quality content in my eyes. Whether or not you think that's up to you all to decide. But I would rather give you guys videos that I would watch than just put out anything I can think about and just call it a day. I don't think that's a very good way to go forward. But it does mean the streams also get affected. Because if I'm doing daily streams on top of that, yeah, that's where the burnout happens. And that's what happened in the past. Alongside other stuff. Starkiller High Relics would be nice. I like your account. And I know you've been watching the channel for a while. I don't know if I like the Omicrons. I know you're in a position where you don't really have all that many Omicrons because you're a smaller account. And obviously some of this is the new Lightspeed token stuff. But I feel like you'd be in a better position if you just saved one Starkiller Omicron, saved one Bane Omicron, saved one Bow Omicron, maybe even saved one Malgus, that's up to you. And then you just applied them over time, especially because we have these new area units releasing. And when Vader comes out, I'm telling you now, guys, he's going to be a fantastic low gear character, all things considered. I know low gear isn't really a thing anymore. But low relic, maybe. He's going to be fantastic with those Omicrons. I feel like, I know a lot of you are going to be in this position where maybe you have like 10 or 15 Omicrons saved. You just don't have the characters for it. Don't apply them like this. Like, if you have C, and not this one, sorry, it's Malevolent Whirlwind. If you have C, this could be pretty good. I mean, the additional 5 Siphon's nice, but you don't need that. It's not a game changer. Bow, debatable, is quite good, but again, you don't need it. If we go even further down, Starkiller, you really don't need this one, because it's only while he's unleashed. And yes, I mean, it's nice, but this would probably be better now Stranger's out, to be fair, because you get unleashed so quick. But outside of that, I don't think it's really necessary. So I feel like you're wasting Omicrons here. T3's Omicron, Juhani's Omicron. Juhani needs higher relics. I feel like your Starkiller team should be a team you do decide to take up to R7, R8. Just because it will make a reasonable difference to your offensive play. But what I'm going to say is, Chromium with an account this small is not bad. And I'm pretty sure you're free to play. Or, I can't remember if you're free to play or if you did the roster review a few years ago and you just had Malgus unlocked and nothing else. Maybe that's the only thing you've ever spent on. I don't know. I would like to see you go for a Galactic Legend at some point. Leviathan's lovely, Exec's lovely. I feel like Galactic Legends is probably the next space for you to attack here. You're pretty close to Sith Eternal, so I know he's not the best, but getting him over the line would not be a bad idea. You could make some good progress doing that. Obviously going for someone like Kylo, anyone like that would also be really nice. But I feel like that's the next big thing. I know you're going for Profundity, that's also nice. Jedi Knight Cal would be very good. Bounty Hunters, I'm not 100% sure on. I don't know what that's going to do for you now. Unless you want to invest in the Bounty Hunters to make your exec fleet better. But we're really in a position where now exec's probably the worst of the big three fleets. Profundity's amazing. Leviathan's obviously Leviathan. What am I drinking? I'm drinking tea. This is chamomile. Is that how you say it? Chamomile tea. That's what I'm drinking today. It's cold now because I made it like an hour ago. But because basically as soon as this stream ends, I'm going to go straight to bed. Because my work schedule is changing tomorrow to the night shift for a day. So I need to sleep, wake up early, and do all of that fun stuff, which we love doing on weekends. See, I'm drinking the chamomile tea because I don't know if it's like placebo or something, but it does make a difference to my sleep. Like I sleep a lot better when I drink it. But I think it might just be placebo. I don't know. I've never really looked into the studies all that much. Bounty Hunters aren't bad, but just bear in mind you're going to get Bounty Hunters for free with the Lightspeed tokens. So don't do any investing now. Would be my recommendation. I just think you need a GL of some description. I really do. I would like to see you go for someone. Also, I'm wondering if you're going for the new Conquest units. I don't know if you have the characters for it yet. Yeah, my advice here, you have the ships. You have a decent roster. There's only so far you can go about Galactic Legends. You don't need them. Like, I think we saw an account in Kyber once they had like one. Like, it's possible. You're just making your life really stressful. So I would recommend you go ahead. Try and get at least 1 or 2 Galactic Legends by the time you're 7.5 mil GP. And then just continue doing what you're doing now, where you actually take characters up the relic levels, because that does also make a difference. In terms of datacrons, it's not too bad. About what I'd expect for an account this size. Ships we've already looked. I'm very impressed. We have a decent-ish home one. I know it's not relic, but you will have that relic with the Lightspeed tokens coming out. Obviously, you've got B-Wing, which is going to help there. Negotiator fleet we haven't looked at. Leviathan's up and running. Exec's up and running. I'm pretty happy with the fleets, especially because you don't need 6 just yet. So it does make a little bit of a difference. If we have a look at the Galactic Republic, what are we looking at? It's not too bad. Not too bad. It probably does what it needs to do. Relics matter, but I feel like they matter less now for fleets than they do for characters. Anyway, nice account. We'll have a quick look at the mods and then we'll go move on to the next roster. Darth Revan is the fastest. If you're running him under Malgus, because he's quite a slow character, Darth Revan. Like this is 150. I mean, I say quite slow. He's not as quick as newer characters, obviously, but almost 160 speed just to hit 330. You could probably drop the speed a little bit, put some offense on him. It does make a big difference. Offense, crit damage, make a big difference to Darth Revan, especially when he's R9, R10 if you ever decide to do that. Which, if you have your R10, by the way, Darth Revan's not a bad idea for that. It would make your Leviathan even scarier. Finish my 6. Have I not done my 600? I thought I had. Thank you for telling me. I could have sworn I did that, like, just before I streamed. How many do I have left? I'm 12 away. I do apologize. I thought I had done them. That's why I didn't do that. But thank you for coming on and telling me. I'll just go ahead and sim something. I even did an extra Cantina refresh today because I thought that it was going to help with that. I know. I'm so sorry. It's fine. We still have 15 minutes. There you go. Alright, there you go. Sorry about that. I know. Yeah, happy Friday to you as well. Sorry about the tickets, man. I did the 3 refreshes and I did 1 more, and I don't know, I think it's just how much I've left over. Every couple of days that'll be enough to do the full 600, and I just wanted to do them before I started streaming, and clearly today wasn't that day. Like we could have done a sim now. Anyway, it's done now. Thank you for the heads up there. I had my thing on mute, so I didn't see that. Yeah, the Revan R10 is a big game changer. I mean, I've got 3 on my account, soon to be 4, which I hope you guys didn't just get ruined on what it's going to be. Anyway, I've got 3. I've done Ezra, Darth Revan, Young Han. Obviously, Young Han is more of a channel thing rather than him being good. Ezra was nice. Darth Revan's the one I've enjoyed the most. By far. Not even because it's good, it's just such a time saver. It makes fleet mirrors so much easier. You can just hit auto. You know, even if they have R10 as well. If you don't have R10, and you go up against R10 and they have the annoying fleet lineup, it just takes a little bit of time. And thank you for the good wishes there, people. I hope you're having a good Friday evening yourself. So yeah, Darth Revan would be a good R10, especially because you have nothing else to apply it to for quite a while. Roster reviews when? We're doing roster reviews now. We're just taking our time. If you're new to the channel, we do take like 20 minutes, sometimes half an hour to do a review. It's not because I'm trying to drag it out. It's just I like to go into as much detail as possible. So if you want a review, make sure you fill in the linked comment, or the link in the comments, should I say, and then I'll put you on the list, although it is getting longer. Just so you guys are aware. I'm gonna relink the spreadsheet so you guys can keep up to date with how we're coming along here. If you do want to skip the queue, that is possible, although you guys will know I don't recommend it. I think you should save your money. But if you do join as a member or super chat or any of that, it will put you first in the line. But again, I'd rather you guys save your money. Okay, I think we can move on to the next one. The next review is going to be Venomous, because we missed them in this just now. Also, guys, I understand not all of you have enough time to sit here for like 1 or 2 hours whenever I do these reviews. So if you do come to the stream and you have to leave for whatever reason, the stream will be time coded, showing you who's been reviewed, and this sheet that I just linked will also have the time code. So also, if you get more than one review at any given point, you can go back and watch whichever one, nice and easy. So you can save those links for another time. It's a nice way of cataloging your own progress. You know, going back, seeing what you've done, seeing the changes you've made. I just for today, so I don't confuse myself anymore. If you've been done, there's gonna be a little black box at the end where it says link to review. That just means you've been done in today's stream. Obviously, I'll time code it another time, so I can see quite a few of you looking there. All right. Yeah. So Venomous. You want an overall one? You'd appreciate it if I look at your roster. You're currently trying to get the most out of your roster to either R5 or R7 due to relic deltas. Already loving that. During this plan, I plan to take Peridia Troopers to R9 and eventually get Balin. Well, you're not just getting Balin, you're also doing some Ahsoka Rex, which is pretty cool. And even before Ahsoka got her little event, which you guys will see is over here, you could argue the Peridia Patrol was always a benefit of farming Ahsoka, because it gives you some decent rewards if you invest in them. And they are a good team. Hey, welcome to the stream, buddy. You're free to play? Really cool. I like that. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you can get everyone to 65, that's a win free to play. So that's not too bad. I'm still looking into it. I haven't made my decision yet. I've seen some people talking about it. Whether to hoard crystals and get everyone to 4-star. Because I feel like the trade-off, getting the lightspeed tokens, might be worth it, but I haven't had enough time to fully decide that yet. Peridia Patrol, amazing. They're a good team to begin with in 3v3. They can beat some good stuff in offense. Against the right opponent, they can be a tricky team on defense. They're good in TB. They're good in Conquest, actually. They're good in Territory War if you put them with Great Mothers. The form. There's a form link. I'll repost it here. It's in the pinned comment, but if you want a link, it's here. 1 second. It takes a while. It's there you go. I put the link again. You're gonna try that next era. Try it. I'm gonna make a video hopefully before the era starts and do a breakdown. But there's also some other people that have tried doing that or have done some successfully. But I think it's more than just looking at the numbers. It's also looking at the convenience. I think I talked about this in a recent stream. With games like this, it's very easy to just look at the raw numbers, like this works, this is good. But there's also the enjoyment factor, and then there's the convenience factor. And taking the error units to 4-star isn't just that. You're also maybe getting one or two at relics. You're getting a new character at least unlocked, which is part of the enjoyment factor. You're then getting lightspeed tokens, which is more convenience because you can use them on whoever you want. So it's something to think about. I don't know if it's the best way to go, but it's something to think about. Wishy Washy, I put in the form link. You can follow that and fill it in. I did recently post, but I'll post it one more time in case you guys didn't see it. A link to the spreadsheet. This one isn't where you put the ally code. This one is just where you go if you want to see where you are on a queue or see if your roster's been completed. Again, the reviews do take a while. It's not me trying to take up all of your evenings. I just like to go in as much detail as possible. Now, this account is obviously free to play. You used your free R10 on Lord Vader, which is pretty nice. Now, discussion time. Especially if you care about, being the best account you can have, which I think Venomous is in that group. There is a real argument for modding Lord Vader for either crit damage or offense. So, for context, on the account I'm on now, I have him modded for speed. On my other account, I have him modded for crit damage. And that was due to Jacken, which I'm sure you guys have heard of. Jacken Hagai is a fantastic content creator. Who's growing pretty well, actually. I've seen that recently. They're getting a bit of a community going, which is really nice for them. They are the Lord Vader specialists. That is like the main team they use. They know so much about Lord Vader that so many other people don't know. And have been one of the campaigners for him being good all along. And they made a video now maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And it was detailing how you put Lord Vader with crit damage. You had it before, nice. And honestly, it was a game changer. Because he does so much damage. I would even recommend now, even with the clones, it's so much better. Arguably better than before. Because before, the issue with going crit damage is sometimes he would get easily killed because he doesn't have the extra protection. But now the clones do all that work and you have the protection up as well through... who is it that gives the protection up? I can't even remember on the clones. It is CX2, there we go. CX2 gives that extra survivability. Having him now crit damage, amazing. Really is. Speed with high offense also works. But basically, the moral of the story is the more offense, the better. Protection can work, but it also sometimes leads in timeouts or ends up in timeouts. So that's something for you guys to consider. I do recommend you go watch Jacken and his Lord Vader videos. I like seeing the R10 here. He is a fantastic R10. Hey Snake Plant, welcome to the stream, buddy. Hopefully you're having a good Friday evening. All the other GLs are 7. That's okay. I know you're free to play, but if you have the resources, Jabba, Kylo should be the RH you do. C you can leave for a while. Darth Revan, same as I said before, especially if you're free to play, make use of your mods even more because your mods is your lever, your advantage compared to someone who spends lots of money. If you have Malgus and you run Malgus with Darth Revan modded for offense is perfectly viable. Also, if you have Zalbar Omicron, let's go have a look there, for 3v3 purposes, you're gaining so much speed you don't need the speed set. Offense set 100% is how I would go. You don't have it. But if you ever do apply it, that's another reason to run the offense set. Really cool Google form thing. Thank you, man. It's just my way of, one, keeping it kind of on track so I know who's done, who's not done. It's a nice way for me to make sure I'm not doing people too close to each other, so I don't, like say, do Venomous today and tomorrow as well. And it's a good way for you guys to come back and actually see where your reviews have been done. So thank you for the positive feedback, man. I appreciate it. Alright. Omicron's, I don't know about Reaver's third, her unique. I feel like you probably could have avoided that. You got her modded crit damage. What's her health at? I guess it can work. I prefer offense from Reaver, but crit damage is okay. Good call on the set swap and Revan. Yeah, the Revan doesn't necessarily need that fast mods these days. Oh, I love it. Yeah, Jack is a fantastic content creator. Or should I say Jacken? I don't know if I'm even allowed to call him Jack. Should you get Starkiller or both first? Depending on lightspeed tokens or progress. I'd say do Starkiller now. and wait for the Lightspeed tokens to go out halfway through the year, and you'll basically have both for free. We spoke about it on the last review, but you'll only need to farm max 2 characters, because 3 of them will be given to you at Relic, so actually you only need to farm Paz. So you can kind of wait off for that, rather than wasting time. Scorcher R7, Omicron, nice. Alright, let's focus on Lord Vader, because you said to me, in your review request, you're talking about R5 to R7 due to Relic Deltas. My question to you is, why stop there? You're 10 million GP. Your best team is Lord Vader by far. I can say, oh, guys, that made me jump. Thank you so much for the sub, man. I forgot I had that turned on, and it came through really loud on my headphones. Or earbuds, whatever you want to call them. Right. Guys, if you don't know how Lord Vader works, I thought you could click this, but you can't. It's here. He basically drains the mastery from his team, and then gives it back if they're Empire Online Force user. If they're not, he literally drains it. That's why you don't really run him with Sith, because they just slowly die, which is quite cool. But he gains whatever they had, basically their mastery, their stats, to simplify it. So if you have a Lord Vader team and you have an R5 team around him, not only is Relic Delta a thing, but he's literally gaining less stats on an ultimate. If you have him at a high relic, with his team high relic, his performance increases so much. To the point where I'm going to show you guys, this is where the data doesn't back it up, isn't it? Let's bring up GAC Insights, which if you guys don't have SWGOH.gg, if you have the spare cash, I recommend you do subscribe to it. It's very good if you take Grand Arena seriously. If you can't afford it or you don't have it, that's also fine. So I'm going to look at Lord Vader on defense here. Where is... There we go. Lead. Lord Vader. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 comparisons. The same team, just for the purpose of this. So it's like a clean comparison. And we're going to do both of them. We'll go for an R8 Lord Vader. We'll start with something more attainable to almost all of you. So in the first one, defense lead, we'll go minimum 8 and maximum 10. I think that's the best way. And then we'll go defense minimum tier 5. Right, it's just 5 and upwards. In the second one, I will quickly change this. Give me a second here, guys. And we'll do... Where is it? Defense... Minimum relic tier. We'll go 8 and 10. So Lord Vader stays the same. But we're going to bump his rest of his team to at least relic 8. Alright, let me show you guys what it would look like. So this is what we're looking at. Let me just bring this down a little bit. Can you guys see that? Hopefully you can on the stream. And if I bring this one over as well. Okay. So this is Lord Vader win percentage in Kyber with the team R8 Lord Vader, at least R5 everywhere else. 61% win rate when it's the lower relic. 58% when you have everyone else higher relic. Which may seem like a lot, but this is where the filters come into play here, guys. If we went and we excluded Bo, or actually if we just went in and looked at them individually. So for example, if we looked at just Bo and looked at just Bo here. Oh, is it going to load? Look at that. 34 goes down to a 21%. And that's like the most consistent off meta. Yeah, I think it does do that. It's a bit like Hot Utils. So you guys can see that literally by having everyone at higher relics, Bo becomes way less consistent. Now bear in mind it's also datacon dependent. If we took Bo out of the equation and we had a look at who else would be good to look at. Let's look at JML, for example. That's another pretty consistent Lord Vader counter. We're not going to spend too long on this. It's just to prove a quick point here, guys. We had a look here. 39 becomes 33. Now, also bear in mind that the data is a little bit unreliable because there's less battles being done. Hey, thank you so much for the $10, man. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. Well, thank you so much for the $10, man. That's more than enough. But yeah, I really appreciate it. We'll do your account next. Thank you so much for the $10, and I appreciate you liking my ideas. I'm glad that you're finding it somewhat interesting. So, going back to the point, just so, while it's still in my head, guys, the downside to using .gg this way is, if you look at just the numbers, you see a 9% difference, or 6% difference, I can't do math, and you might think, oh, well, what's the point? You know, like, 6% isn't going to win me a Grand Arena. Just remember, guys, that your opponent is going to be bringing in something even better or safer because you have the higher relics. So if you're a free-to-play, and you have, say, Lord Vader, in this case, you have him at decent relic levels, you take in the clone teams all R8 or all R9, big ask for free-to-play, don't get me wrong, could be the difference between your opponent always running Bane or always running SWGOH, which are almost always guaranteed to win with good datacrons, right? Whereas before, your opponent might be using bow, and you have like that 35% win rate that we saw earlier. So it does make a big difference. That's why I was saying, you know, you said about taking characters up for relic deltas. Why not go a little bit ahead of that? More specifically with Lord Vader. You've already taken him to R10. You've already got a couple of them at R8, R7 or R9, something like that. So why not just finish them off a little bit? Yeah, you got one R9 here too. Why not just at least take them to R8? Because it does make a big difference. Yeah, the OP con does also do that, and that's also a really good use of your time. You know, spending some more time on other teams because you got datacrons to boost you for now. That I respect that. Also, guys, look at this account and go back to the beginning of the stream. Don't go back now. You want to stay here for now, but at the end of the video, you can rewind it. We was looking at accounts with similar, if not more, GP, and they're all good in their own way. But this account, where are you in Kyber? I'm going to assume you're in Kyber, right? Kyber 3. I feel like you would have more of an advantage in Kyber, despite being free-to-play, despite being lower GP, because you've invested in the key characters. Bane's R8. You have Malikos was R8. You have some of the clones at high relic levels. Honestly, the Peridia Patrol is a good team. Enoch is really good, and especially if you run Dark Trooper Moff Gideon. I know some people don't like him. You don't. Oh, you do have him. He's worth investing a little bit in. One day I'll show you guys in a video. I'll do a video detailing why he's actually good, but he is good to have around. Enoch makes that team even better. Another team you can really invest in through doing the Peridia Patrol is Night Sisters. You can get this team even better. Balin would be good for you because you've almost got Great Mothers there. Morgan is there, one relic level away. And what else are you missing here? Thrawn, almost there, and the last one, I can never remember who the last relic. Oh yes, the two mercenaries, isn't it? That's the last two that we need. So we have Marek and Shin. I feel like Balin would be pretty good for your account. But yeah, I really do like the idea of you going for Peridia Patrol. That's what I would do for the R9s first. Also, just bear in mind, the benefit of the Peridia Patrol R9 is it also gives you the chance at Omicrons, which when you're free to play, those 5 extra Omicrons when they roll around, that could be a big game changer for you. I would say just be a little less trigger happy with the Omicrons. Like, again, you can save Bane's special there. You can probably save Reaver's unique. There's some that I probably wouldn't have applied myself, but in the end, it's your account. You do it the way you want to do it. Starkiller needs more relics. Again, not really the biggest fan of the special there being applied. And then I'm also curious, how are you looking for conquest characters, especially the newer ones? Do we have the Stranger unlocked? No. Do we have Pirates? Any of these guys done? Why don't I just go to Pirates instead? That would have been so much quicker. We don't have. We do have SM33 though. Anyone else that we need to look at? I don't know. I feel like Conquest units is also the big difference maker when it comes to free-to-play versus pay-to-play accounts. Because if you're free-to-play, but you get all the Conquest characters at least by the end of the first sector, or first attempt at the next conquest cycle, should we say. Let's compete in a better position than someone who doesn't get them at all. Yeah, okay, Stranger will be good for you, but if you are going to get Stranger, bump that team up to R7. I know you're not going to have the new Maul, but that is not the end of the world. Overall, not a bad account. I like the idea of Pretty Patrol, like I said before. That was a bit of a tongue twister, wasn't it, guys? I like the idea for taking some characters up. I do recommend a little bit extra work on Lord Vader, but like you said, you've got OP Datacrons at the moment. It's not a must-have, but it's something you should work on. Worth it. 100% worth it if you can. Like, don't break the bank, but when you're free to play, or even when you very lightly spend, if you're unlocking characters or thinking of spending crystals, with whatever you do, you need to think, am I going to get these crystals back in the long run? And you having the Stranger, especially in Kyber 3, where people maybe don't watch much content on YouTube or Twitch, don't really follow the game religiously. That's not to say people don't, but obviously the chances are lower. If you're in Kyber 1, the chances are people are going to be watching crazy. Like, I would even argue, based on talking to people and playing the game myself for so many years, Erodium is probably where everyone's watching all the guides, because everyone in Erodium is so sweaty, guys. If you're there, you know what I'm talking about. But you having a character like the Stranger could literally be the difference between going 3-0 and 0-3, right? So that would just win you so many crystals, and just think about it that way. It's the same reasoning when we go through and we're like, is it worth 7-starring Leviathan day 1 or 7-starring Exec day 1? It's coming down to whether you think, on a personal level, the crystal return is worth it. Talking about that, let's have a quick look at your fleets. We have Rebel B-Wing done, which is very nice. Yeah. I can see that. I mean, Kyber 2, Kyber 3 is still very good. Like we've already spoken about today. Anything in Kyber is to me, considered very good at the game. Especially if you're sub 12 million GP, you're clearly above average as a player. And Empire, do you have a fleet? Kind of. Obviously, a Bounty Hunter fleet. Nice, relic levels are good. That's something I was going to pick up on, but you don't really need to worry about that. Resistance. Okay, if you're free to play, my recommendation to you, comeuppance, at least get all the reinforcement, all of that done. Raise Falcon, get these two to relic. Hear me out on this, guys. And then you're going to ignore the rest, and you're going to run Vader. Well, you can run Vader, or the better way to do is to run Bomber. And guys, it's taking me a while because I used to run this all the time. It's either Emperor's Shuttle or Gauntlet. I'll have to double check. It's been a while since I've done the counter. And that's your go-to profundity. You basically run Resistance with the Empire fleet. And the Bomber will taunt, survive, inflict burning. You then call in Zori's ship. And then the mass assist kills everyone. It's as simple as that. It works really well. Even if they have Rogue One, that ship, it works pretty well. I'll have to double check the lineup. Like I said, it's been a while since I've run that. But it's a nice counter to have. Because Empire has gone from being probably the best non-GL fleet to being pretty average in my mind. Not to say it isn't good, but everyone has different opinions. And lately, I'm not really enjoying Empire. Let's have a quick look at your mods. And then, unless you have any other questions, we can move on. Because I feel like we spent quite a while talking about relic differences, which I definitely agree with you on. So, oh, hey Burrito Express, we actually just did your review like 20 minutes ago. Welcome to the stream, buddy. Up to you if you want to watch it now, or if you want to watch it after the stream. Completely up to you. Alright, Dooku at 357 is very nice. I like that. Mara Jade. Mara Jade is another character. We spoke about it earlier. You can break up. You don't actually need potency here either. I'd actually recommend protection. Because of Emperor's Hand, you have Loyal Hand. which has given you the extra protection and the extra offense. So modding for protection is better on Mara for survivability. I know that she's one of those characters that's about you controlling the team. She's a control team, but all these little differences make a big difference. So modding for protection is much better than modding for health. And again, you don't need the potency. You can keep it if you want, but just remember she does apply tenacity down, which I think is on this one. There you go. So obviously there's the chance she doesn't apply tenacity down, but do remember she runs with Palpatine, and Palpatine has so much potency in his kit that it kind of makes up for if you don't have the potency on her. Is it his unique or his lead? I can never remember which one. I think it's his lead. So Empire and Sith allies have 35% potency increases. So it does make a big difference there. So you don't necessarily need the potency set. You can actually change that. You can make her faster, slow her down. That's up to you. Disguise Clone Troopers very quick here. I feel like that may just be modding for the raid, which is understandable. Seven Sisters fast, which we like. Darth Revan was spoken about already. CX speed and health is okay, very fast. I think this is just raid modding. Thrawn, Officer. It's a fast Malik. Padawan Obi-Wan at R9. I like to see that. His Omicron is worth it, by the way, just for the time saving in Conquest. Oh, it's general modding. I don't know. It's not what I've got. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm not saying the way I've got it is the right way. It's not bad. Maybe I would tweak it a little bit. I just assumed you had it for the raid, so you could run the 3-man, but I forgot you don't have the third clone. What did you say what for, Burrito? What have I missed? Anyone else? What's your Ray like? She needs higher relic levels. Also, if you can, I know there's still a debate, speed, offense, whatever. I really like the idea of doing an offense set on Rey because she does a lot of damage. Like a lot of damage. And you can still get pretty good speed on her. So, you know, she's still pretty good in that sense. Relic levels and Afro would be nice, especially as you get the new droid to go with her. Okay. For the most part, this is looking pretty good. You do want an Omicron here. This is where it comes back to what I said earlier about saving your Omicrons for both you and the previous account. If you hadn't have applied those third Omicrons on a couple of these characters, you would have been able to get at least 2 on Rey. And I would argue Darkseid Rey is one of those characters that benefits from all 3. Like, I'm not really an all 3 Omicrons sort of guy. I like characters to have only 2 at max. But there's a few characters that require all 3. For me, Malicos is 1. Rey is the 2nd. And go from there, really. I mean, there's some other characters, but... Is there a long line now? I haven't seen. There's quite a long line. Yeah, I mean, the streams aren't going to go on forever, so it just means you have to come back for the next one. I do apologize, guys, but I do like to go more in detail. I don't feel good giving reviews for like 2 minutes, and I also don't know how useful you'd find that. Okay, any last questions, Venomous, before we move on to the next review, which is going to be Stanimal, because of the super chat earlier, which was very kind of them, so thank you again for that. Okay, let me just quickly make sure I've blocked this off so I don't do it again. I'll give you like another 20 seconds. If you don't send anything, I'm going to assume you're okay with how the review went. Okay, the next one is going to be Stanimal. I think they put in Stanimal. There we go. I found you. Just not Kenobian would like to know how to mod him and Cat. Anything else you want to review, please go over. Okay, we can have a look at you in a second. How many more do you think you'll do? I can't really answer. Depending on how long the next one goes, we'll go for the stream for about 2.5 hours. So we'll go for another 40 minutes. So possibly 2. Yeah, Venomous, I just saw your message. Sorry, it was like a delay for me. After Balin, should I go for Parrot King Hondo for Smuggler Run 3? Yes, because it does make a big difference for the modding. And eventually, Smugglers Run 3, whatever the new mode comes out. I know the rewards don't seem all that great because it's just more mods, but when you're free to play, these are the big difference makers. So yes, I would 100% do that. Already taking great notes. Offense and Duffer and Mara Jade with protection, yeah. Mara Jade protection. Run the crit damage though on her special for her special. So on the triangle, crit damage is very good on Mara Jade. Okay, cool. That's all answered. Yeah, we'll try and do 3 more. I just don't know how long we spend on them because some of the rosters today are taking a little bit of time to go through. If I don't get to you, don't fret, guys. As long as you're on the spreadsheet when we get round to roster reviews next time, you will get seen. I know that it can be annoying when you don't get seen, but I'm trying my best. There is no price point. Like I said multiple times, guys, I would rather you save your money. If you want to super chat or become a member, that's up to you. I do recommend though, if you are going to go down that route, just check out the members bonuses. I did redo them all, and some are more roster specific, and it might work out cheaper for you over the month. You can always cancel. I'm not going to ask you to stay on it forever, but some of them do give bonuses in that sense. Alright, no problem. And nice account considering a free to play. I really do like it. Alright guys, let's move on to the next one, which is obviously going to be Stanimal. Alright, guys, give me 1 second. I just need to make sure my phone's not been going off. Okay, that's fine. That's a downside of having a Mac because it's linked to my iPhone. If I get texted or anything like that, it will come up on the stream. So I've got to like turn it all off while I'm doing this. Okay, 13.3 million GP. Pretty good progress here. We've already spoken about it already, but if you are worrying about getting any of them to 75, the Vader, I think it's either the 4-star or the 5-star one. We'll have to double check when it comes out. Is going to give the materials needed to get some of these to relic. So that's always nice. Right. We have a lot of R9s here. You did the Stranger to R10. Okay, so you got him very fast, which is good. But let's just take a second and think here, guys. So, the Stranger. We know that his basic 1 is going to give him 50 speed. And then he's going to gain 1 speed plus 1 per relic amplifier to max 10. So you're going to get the plus 10 speed. So you're going to get 60 the first time he uses it. And just remember that the plus 1, so the plus 10, should I say. Hey, thank you so much for the £2, mate. I appreciate it. It's not less than 3 as a heart, but thank you so much, man. We will do you after this one. Thank you so much for the £2. I do appreciate it. So yeah, you get the 60 speed, then you're gaining the plus 10, which you can do continuously. Okay. You only need 250 speed more than target enemy to instantly defeat them, and as we know, when the new Maul comes out, he's going to be fracturing, and then fracture reduces speed to 0. So the insta-kill would be irrelevant when it comes to speed, right? So that's the first thing to think about. The second one is Starkiller is already giving, what, 70 speed? Something like that? I need to double check Starkiller, because the numbers always go away from me. So let's go have a quick look here. Starkiller, over here, his unique is going to give 35, it is 70. So that 70 speed is already coming into play as well, right? That's the first thing. So we've got the 70 speed on top of the 350. That takes him to what? 420? Then, if you basic on his turn, you're going to instantly go up to like 480. Now, my question to you guys, and this is for you to decide, do you really feel like you need him at 350, which is a 176 mod set? And if you're going to use him on defense, I would argue no. Because he also has some other stuff going for him. He's got a lot of bonus turns coming in. I can't remember if it's his unique or his... where is it? Firstly, whenever anyone's fractured, they're losing turn meter. That's to do with Maul. I guess it's unique. There you go. The first time each enemy damages the stranger, he gains 100% turn meter. So again, the speed isn't... For me, you can disagree with me, guys, and that's fine. I'm not here to tell you exactly how to do it. I'm here just to raise the debates, to get you to question it. I would suggest, and I've seen some people in the recent streams coming in and also suggesting there's some good players, going for health modding, because it's not necessarily about the damage for him, because he already has all the, like the instant defeat stuff. I think it's on this one, or is it on this one? One of them, there you go. Instant defeat to target enemy. If there's only one enemy remaining, you instantly defeat target enemy, right? So you got instant defeats. You have this, which is also an instant defeat. You have a lot of speed passively in his kit. But what he doesn't have is that much survivability. And when he dies, the team really falls apart. Now, that could obviously be changed with Maul. So obviously when Maul releases and people get testing, maybe it turns out you mod him for offense and go for the damage. But my initial thoughts is you don't need him to be this quick, because you're already gaining so much speed. And at the moment, what a lot of people are doing is just gutting him down, going from there. So that's just something to think about. Because when it comes to modding, obviously not everyone has god mods. I'm assuming you have good mods because your stranger's that well modded. But it then comes down to how do you manage them to get the most out of everyone. Your Reaver is modded offense and health. That's how I would mod her. Health, crit damage is nice. Offense is okay. I would honestly say just health is fine. But offense is fine there. Doing a split isn't going to hurt you. Darkside Ray. This is how I would mod her. So we spoke about this earlier. Yeah, the gun down either stuck or stranger, which is why people are modding both for high health. That's kind of the solution people have come to. But just remember, when Maul comes out, he's going to be marking himself. So unless there's a team that avoids that, like for example, the new Bad Batch could be a good one, which we already know can work in some situations. That could be the bypass. So again, having high health is good. This is how I like to mod Darkside Ray. I like to mod her basically the same as Reaver. Offense with health and decent speed, which you have all of that in abundance. 311 is perfectly fine for her. Bane is R9. We haven't got all the Omicrons. Treya R9 is pretty nice. I do like seeing that. CX, speed and health, 301. Yeah, I mean, that's looking okay. Bastila, Talon. You seem to be a Sith Empire fan. Or a Sith fan. Malakos R8, I would recommend here. Yes, I feel like that could also work. That, and I think once these OP crons go, I have a feeling that Muzz will just screw with them. Okay, so JMK's here. This is how we're going to mod JMK. Speed and health is the most common. There's some people that run an offense set on him, but that's kind of a little bit niche. I would just say speed and health is the way. Now, you want him to be very quick. And the reason you want him to be very quick is because for a lot of counters, it's about him getting his ultimate as quick as possible. And yes, any Galactic Legend is going to be fast, don't get me wrong. But he just needs to be getting those turns in. Not just that, but the quicker you can get on the instant defeat immunity, not instant defeat immunity, sorry, the damage immunity, the cooldown refresh, all of this, it's just better to have him fast. You want to go for offense on the cross, crit damage on the triangle, Health, always health on the circle. If you're wondering why, anyone with protection up in the kit benefits from health more than protection. I say anyone just as a broad talk here, guys. Obviously, there's exceptions. But if you didn't know, protection up is based on max health. That's how it scales. So if someone gains protection up, you're going to want to mod them for health where possible. So the health on the circle is really important. And then the arrow, speed obviously is the best. Some people run offense if you have like a really crazy fast offense arrow, but not needed. And the other option, which I've seen some people do, like, I'm not even joking here, guys. I've seen some people do this. I wouldn't recommend it, is if you have a really, really fast accuracy arrow. Because for some reason, JMK just does not hit with this one. And this is a high damage dealing ability. But like I said, main thing to watch out for is high health, high speed, good offense with the crit damage on the triangle. And you should be rolling with this guy. In terms of mods to aim for, I'll do it this way. I'll just show you my JMK. And that will probably be the easiest way to give you a kind of threshold to aim for. Where is this guy? He's over here. So my JMK is 575. I would say at a minimum, aim for 560. At an absolute minimum. Because anything lower than that, and you're going to get beaten by JML very easily. Because JML, you'll see JMLs go to about 560, maybe 565. Like my JML, for example, is chilling here at 550. Which is still fast, but you're going to see some faster JMLs. They will go first, and they will ability block, and then the whole thing kind of falls apart on defense if you ever use him there. I know people don't really do that anymore, but just so you're aware. Is shield up the opposite? Bonus HP based on protection. It's only Gungan. I don't actually know, and you guys know I don't like giving advice I'm not 100% sure on. So let's go have a look at Gungan Phalanx. I'll have a look here. Shield up is where on the unique? Where is shield up? I'm not even sure where shield. There we go. Gain is shield based on max protection. I'm assuming it works very similar. That I'm not 100% sure on. Good question. I'll look into it for another stream. But yeah, anyway, protection up based on max health. That's the main thing to take away here. So any character that does gain protection up, you're going to want to mod for health. That includes the likes of Padme. That includes the likes of I mean, when I said there's some exceptions, for example, CX, you can mod for health, you can also do protection because Lord Vader's converting it. But if you do the number crunch, I think the health works out slightly better. Balin, he just needs lots of speed. Defense can work. That's not too bad at all. Thank you for bringing up the shield up buff, by the way, Burrito. I'm gonna have a look at that after the stream. I never even really thought about that one. Again, Hondo. Ways to mod him. See, you've got protection here. I would change that. And I would go with the health. Again, he's gaining protection up. With his unique. Firstly, he's got health still. You're not going to gain protection for health still. It's health recovery. So the extra health helps there. And on top of that, is it on his unique? It's on this one, though. One of them is giving him protection up. But I can't remember where it is. This is the problem. There's so many kits in this game. Sometimes... There we go. Protection 5% stacking. So again, he benefits from high health. Some people actually mod him for just straight up health. Just forget the offense. Because he just ramps, especially if you have his Datacron, which did just leave, unfortunately. He just does enough with high health as it is. Anyone else to mention here? If you want to do something fun for 3v3 here, guys, this is my recommendation. You can run as a 3v3 team to beat any, if you ever see them, SLKR without Ray. You can also, this one, wait until I try it on my stream. Don't try it without seeing it first. You can, so I don't know if you guys saw, I did a video on Jedi Knight Revan beating Jabba. I've done a video and I also did it on stream, and there's also a short, all different clips, which is quite cool, of Jedi Knight Revan beating Jabba because of the protection up crom. And he's another character that affects that in the opposite way. Whenever someone's marked, or not marked, sorry, it's whenever anyone's basicked with protection up, they lose max health. It's on his lead. You can see it here, whenever a Jedi ally uses basic ability on an enemy with bonus protection, reduce the target enemy's max health by 10%. And aside from that, if you mod him for high health, and you bring armor, and you bring Jedi Knight Luke, every AI will target Jedi Knight Revan. If your armor is quick enough, armor will get the 3 stacks of Beskar. You shove him on Jedi Knight Revan, he is not gonna die. And then you can just go from there, and you can do some pretty fun stuff. You can beat some cool teams. It's something to try for 3v3. Because I know you're interested in that, because you said in your super chat. So that's an idea for 3v3. You also want to know how to mod Commander Ahsoka. It's a weird one. The best way to mod her is still just as high speed as possible. Like, she's one of those characters, you've already got it, 360, 370. Now, she, for the most part, doesn't need these sets, okay? She just needs speed. I'd also recommend doing a broken mod set here. Get rid of the health set, get her even faster. The only problem is JMK's viability is going down. But that doesn't mean not having her fast is important, because of mirror matches and other counters that she may be involved in. Sorry guys, I didn't mean to cough into the mic there. If you want to go most optimal, offense, crit damage, health, and then everything else is up to you. Obviously, like I said, you can drop the mod sets if you want. Say you have a defense mod with offense here, or say you have, I don't know, tenacity or anything like this. That could be good. You don't necessarily need a mod set on her that's full. You can break them, no problem at all. So that's your JMK question. That is your cat question. Let's go through, because you want modding advice more than anything. So let's have a quick look for anything else here that we can pick up on. We have Afra, obviously as high potency as possible. That's good potency. We have Asajj, no. Merrin, we'll look at Merrin. No, today it's just a Cafenero. I don't know if you even have this brand in like America and all that. You must have this coffee shop in America, right? Or is it like, I don't even know what country it's even from. So it's just a branded mug today. Okay, Merrin. And also, just a quick one. When you're modding characters for defense, the more defense you put on, the less returns you're actually going to get. And I'll show you this in real time, okay? So, let's go over here. I'm going to go pick... you know what? We'll pick my Merrin. Right, let me quickly just save this mod set, so I don't lose it in a second here. So let me save this. Now, Merrin's mod set's now saved, as you guys can see. Alright, so, if I went defense, only defense, so if I kept, one health set, and we went 2 defense sets, not even the defense primary, we're just going for the defense sets, any of the primaries, it doesn't really make a difference. I'm just going to show you the number change here. Do this one. Okay, so our defense on Merrin is going to go to 66.5. That is the armor, okay? Now, what if we changed to 3 defense sets? Remember, it was 66.5. That's what we need to remember that, guys. We're going to go to 69.4, which, is a decent upgrade. Don't get me wrong. It does, but there's diminishing returns, and that's the point we're going to get to. For the most part, you're better off doing defense and health combos, or defense and something else. Like, I know the armor pen, but also remember, you've got other ways of reducing all of this. If we went defense primaries, and we changed, I don't think I have that many. So we did this. Probably not the best example with Merrin. 72.1. Where is it? I know there's a cutoff that comes. Where is it? I can't find it right now. Anyway, yeah, we got her up to 73%. But if you work, I think there was like a spreadsheet a while back. It wasn't the best example to use Merrin, to be fair. I should have used someone with higher base defense. Anyway, the point is, once you get to a certain threshold, it's normally around about 74, 75%. You're not really gaining that much. Also, just bear in mind, armor shreds kind of burn through it. And the effective health goes down a bunch. I know you're talking about armor penetration, but you can also just balance that with actual defense on the Krons themselves. Either way, the point was meant to be about diminishing returns. It wasn't actually the best example of diminishing returns because Merrin has such low defense as it is. Anyway, the best way to mod Merrin, I don't know if I would agree with full defense at all. I'm not saying you can't do that. It's up to you if you want to, but I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. For me, the best way to mod Merrin, yeah, but doing it through secondaries is okay because through the secondaries you're still getting the health increase, you're still getting everything else, and then you get the defense on top. It really wasn't the best example to use Merrin there. If I was on my other account, I'll show you my Zalbar. My Zalbar is modded for defense, and I think he's at 84%, and literally changing any percent of defense is like less than 0.5% difference. Like that, you do get the diminishing returns. Also, not to mention armor shreds and all of that. But also remember with armor penetration, there's not that much of a difference between say 200% and 400% because again it has diminishing returns. That's why with the last set it was better to do a combination. So for example, you would go for like say 200% crit damage, 100% crit damage, whatever, and then you would go for the armor penetration to finish it off. It makes a little bit of a difference. But what I would recommend for Merrin, I wish I had the spreadsheet. No, don't mod for speed. You can keep a defense set, but again, you don't need this speed, by the way. Like you can change these mods. This one, if you want to keep it, you can keep it. But a lot of these you can put on other characters. You don't need speed. What you're going to want is a combination of one of the following. You can keep your defense if it's working. I mean, if it's working, it's working. That's the main thing. I mean, what's your defense on your 72.6, 24% increase? Crit avoidance is probably going to be nicer. That's what I recommend. I'm not saying it's the only way to go. But crit avoidance on Merrin, or just anyone who wants to stay alive, Merrin, B2, all of these guys. Crit avoidance is very nice. Because if you avoid the crit, the damage is not going to kill you. Defense set's great. Defense primaries troll. Yes. That's kind of more of the point I was trying to make about diminishing returns. It's more when you start adding defense primaries, it's not worth the trade-off. I personally wouldn't run triple defense sets anyway. That's up to you. I would go either one or two. I'll go 1 health set, 2 health sets, 1 defense set, or 2 defense sets, 1 health set. I like to do a combination. But again, that's completely up to you to do. But I wouldn't do defense primaries. Crit avoidance for me is the best arrow you can run. Some people run health. Obviously, in this case, you're using defense. For me, crit avoidance. And on Merrin specifically, it's very good because she already has built-in crit avoidance in her relics. So if you put on a crit avoidance arrow, she's going to go up above like 50 or 60%. And if you take her up even higher, she's going to hit that 70% crit avoidance. Don't quote me on that number. It's around about it. And at that point, forget about the defense. If she's not being critted, you are not getting through her. And as an example, look at like battles against Glat. Look at battles against like Ray when you can't crit. All of these different teams. As soon as you remove the crits, the damage on these teams fall hard. Look at, for example, Hondo. GL Hondo, who's very much a crit damage dealing team because obviously profit. Look at the way in the initial squad arena testing, when he first came out, people were struggling against JMK because you can't crit with the protection up. And in that case, he was basically doing no damage. It's just, when you remove the crits, the survivability goes up. So I would recommend crit avoidance, but again, it's completely up to you. Health, or protection. You can do either or. I prefer health. Protection's also good. If you're running Great Mothers, it's always nice to do a blend because they gain good amount of protection and a good amount of health, especially if Omicron's involved. And this one is up to you. You can run Tenacity, you can run Health. But do bear in mind, if you're running against Jabba over any other team, the thermals are health-based damage. And also you want to be resisting them. Which is harder with current Datacron sets, but that's why people run Tenacity primaries. So that's kind of where I'll go with Merrin. Good discussion. Thank you, Rosin, for the talk about armor penetration and all of that. Like I said, I'm not going to claim that I'm the best player ever, because I'm not. There's way more intelligent players out there. It's just my take on things. For me, I wouldn't run the 3 defense sets. I wouldn't run the defense primaries, but if you think it works for you, it works for you. Now, R2-D2 is another one we need to be looking at a little bit here. So, R2's modding depends on the team you're running him in. If you're running R2 with Leia, then the modding is a little bit more specific. And that is because of the unique, which is number crunch. At the start of the battle, if you guys don't know what this does, R2 is going to gain 10% max protection for each droid. This includes himself, by the way. 10% offense for each Galactic Republic, 10% max health for each Rebel, and 10% potency for each Resistance. Then, you're going to give everyone 10% of all of those stats. Yeah, I can see 3 defense sets working on the tanks. I think that's quite a good use. I think, again, it wouldn't apply to Merrin in this case, but on the tanks I can see that being pretty useful. Again, that also comes down to preference, but 3 defense sets on tanks is definitely a good idea. I mean, defense mods for me are one of the most underrated mod sets you can have. Like, for a lot of teams or characters, I like to run speed and defense over speed and health. But yeah, I appreciate your contribution here to the topic. It's been really useful. So, going back to R2, if you're running it in a Leia team, you're going to want to mod for a decent amount of health, because you're going to gain 10% max health for each Rebel ally. And on top of that, you're going to be giving 10% of all those stats back. So everyone's going to gain a lot more health because you're gaining so much. But obviously, you also share the offense. So the way people tend to mod R2, and I know it does change, is you mod offense sets with health, because in this case you want extra health because that's what you're sharing. And then you're going to run the health primaries, because this way you get the offense set bonus, which is always really nice, but you get the health benefits. If you happen to have like a high offense primary on the actual mod themselves, so for example, say you have an offense speed set, or a speed set with an offense primary that has high speed, because most characters, they value crit damage more than offense, or at least that's what most people tend to do outside of some circumstances. R2 is the one to use. So some people do go for a blend. They go for like offense, health. But either way, offense set, health set is the best way for the majority. I know that sometimes the modding changes, but we're going to go for just the baseline at the moment. So that's how I'll change R2. JNK we spoke about, Cat we spoke about, Merrin we spoke about. Saw, I don't know if you use him much. Speed potency, speed health is probably going to be the best ways. His special, which isn't one of his abilities, it's obviously separate, is going to put the bombs on. When the bombs detonate, it's health-based damage. It can't defeat them, as far as I'm aware. I might be wrong there, so if I am wrong, please do correct me in the chat. But yeah, the actual damage itself is health-based. But the potency, guys, is so nice, because you're going to be applying defense down on the basic, and defense down is amazing as a debuff. And the special is inflicting blind. So having a little bit of potency on him is very nice as a good trade-off there. Right, Rex, I'm hoping you haven't... Right, potency, get rid of it. You don't need it. You don't need it. The reason being, Rex is unresisted. Where does it say? I'm sure it's unresisted. No, it's not unresisted. Sorry, I do apologize, guys. It's the tenacity down can't be evaded, and then you daze them. So the way it works is you tenacity down and then daze them. Almost every single time it's going to be applying. So yes, Rex does not need any potency. You can take that off. Leia, this is good. There's some people who like to go for high offense. Some people like to go for a little bit of potency. Some people like to go for really fast. Personally, I've got my Leia modded for speed. But a mixture of offense, potency, and health, which is what you've got, is also very nice. But just make sure your Leia's still relatively fast. That's very nice. I'm liking your Leia modding. Who else should we look at here? Morgan. Okay. Tenacity. I would say tenacity all the way here. Also, 355 is very, very nice. You want her to be very fast. One, because obviously she's got this ability. You're assisting, calling everyone to assist. You're staggering, you're applying expose, buff immunity, all of this stuff. And on top of that, you're giving everyone frenzy. This Omicron's really underrated, if you ask me. I think it's very nice. But if you can, I would change this to tenacity. The reason being, the weakness to the Great Mother's team, if you're not running Peridia Patrol Brothers, or I don't call them bro. I don't know if they're related. Anyway, if you're not using the two troopers, that's what I said, true troopers. Your weakness is going to be buff immunity or shock. And guess what the most common counters to Great Mothers is, if you're using it on defense, is going to be something like Darth Revan. So if you can avoid those shocks, if you can avoid buff immunities of any description, she stays taunting and the team doesn't die. The second she gets shocked, the team falls apart. So I would recommend, if you can, a little bit of tenacity. But at the moment, not bad modding on her. Very nice and fast. Who else do we have? Wampa. Padawan Obi-Wan is fine. Qui-Gon. I mean, I'm not really seeing anyone else that's screaming out for modding. Obviously, 3v3 versus 5v5. You do have some differences in how you can approach the modding. Some teams you can change. I personally don't remod. I know there's some players right at the top of the game who do remod between 3v3 and 5v5. But that also just comes down to what you're running. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else that could really do with a little bit of talking about. If you use Zam, 334 is very nice. Offense set's beautiful. She's sharing her stats, so that's very nice. Anyone else that we need to look at here? I would relic up your QA, by the way. That's Bane food. QA sub relic 8 is just going to get killed by Bane like instantly, which is kind of sad. Trench doesn't have any gear. Okay, we're in the non-geared characters there. Lord Vader. Okay. He doesn't need a crit chance set. I think Lord Vader's fine running off a broken set as well. You don't necessarily need crit chance there. I do like the offense with the protection crit damage. This is quite nice. It's a good hybrid. Very fast, which is good. Good offense. I'll remind you to go back and watch Jackin's video. The Lord Vader modding can change. Darth Revan I've already mentioned. I personally prefer offense. I know that there's arguments for and against it, but if you're running with Malgus or running him with Zalbar Omicron, then he doesn't necessarily need the speed. Balin was spoken about, that's fine. Reaver was spoken about. Ben was spoken about, right? Or not? Let me look at Ben. Either way, he's looking pretty good. You have all the Omicrons. Again, guys, if you haven't applied every Omicron on Ben, you can avoid the redeemed one. The reason being, it makes General Skywalker way more consistent. Until he sits down, but yeah, for the most part, it's way more consistent. We spoke about Jedi Knight Revan already. We spoke about R2. Anyone else? Star Killer again. Modding him for health is quite nice. The reason being, his pull it out of the sky. Where is it? Is that on his? I think it's on his force energy. He is going. Where does it say? Deal damage equal to 80% of his max health. So again, this is why modding Starkiller for health is actually really nice, or bringing in a health-based Datacron. It's not just about him being more survivable, which is really important, but it's also the fact that if you mod him for health, when he does pull out of the sky, it's doing that a little bit more damage. It makes a little bit of a difference. There's obviously arguments to and against. I run him with an offense set. Some people run health, but the option's there for you to look at. Anyone else we need to look at? Thrawn. Yeah, I mean, he's okay. I'll even suggest full tenacity, possibly on him. Drogon, I'm not going to look at Drogon here. We looked at them. Paz is a good example of defense sets being quite nice. Anyone else we need to look at here? I think for the most part, we're kind of there. I would put at least one defense set on Zalbar. 61% on Zalbar at the moment. Yes, he does hit a lot quicker, so that health does make a little bit of a difference. But honestly, with Starker, it's more of a survivability thing. Because the problem with Starker on defense is the second one of the team dies, the cleanup becomes just easy as anything, because half the abilities don't activate. Master Qui-Gon, we don't need to look at him. Zori, we don't need to look at. Let's have a quick look at your speeds. I think I've already been flicking through, but we'll just double check. Okay. So personally, especially for 3v3, I don't like to look at a roster and see like 4 or 5 characters from the same team, because it's not that it's necessarily bad. It might work for you, but in terms of roster depth and mod depth, it's a bit worrying, because after 1 or 2 teams, your mod quality is dropping quite a lot. So my solution to you, if you're watching, and obviously it's only a suggestion, go through and think who actually needs the speed. Because we're all told to believe Echo needs the speed, Mara needs the speed, Commander Ahsoka needs the speed, Morgan needs the speed, although there are characters that need it more than her. Bayla needs the speed. For example, take Darth Revan, okay? He is 350 plus 176. If you gave him a decent offense set, and you still aim for around about 300 to 310, which I think is about the sweet spot for him. Obviously, the faster the better, but you don't need him to be 350. You can then move these mods onto someone else, and it just frees up a little bit of a gap. So going through and just assessing who has the speed, who needs the speed is always nice. When it comes to characters like Zam, if you're taking Grand Arena seriously, just calculate the speed she would have. I'm not going to do it now, because I don't want to do math right now, but work out how much speed she has, how much speed she's going to give the team, and just make sure you're meeting the thresholds. And if you're wondering what threshold you need to meet, either watch some guides on the game on YouTube or whatnot, or alternatively, I will show you here. You can go to .gg, you can search up any unit you want. So for example, we are going to look up, I don't know, let's look up Ezra, right? Not really the best example, but either way. You're then going to go on player data. I think it's player data, stats. There we go. And we're going to go all, is it all? I can't actually remember where you find this, I'm not going to lie. Here we go. This shows you the speeds of him if you want to see it overall. So you can see like how many of each speed there is of Ezra. And it's also nice to see where people actually are. And it gives you a more general average, which you can obviously see is somewhere down here. Where is the... Right, is it here? It's here. This is the other page you can go to. You can go to this page, and you can filter by the bracket you're in. So for example, say you're in Erodium, the average speed's 295. Say you're in Chromium, the average speed's 269. If you go to Kyber, it jumps up to 365. So obviously, if you're in Erodium, there is no benefit, and I mean no benefit, to modding all your characters to beat Kyber versions when you can split it up and you can do better that way. Obviously for you, you are in what division? You are in Kyber 2, so you do need to mod for Kyber, but just having an idea of how fast characters will be is a big one. Obviously, there'll be those matches where everyone has god mods or people have really bad mods, but having a balanced mod roster is better than having a top-heavy one. Okay, I've said a lot here, guys. Any other questions, Stanimore? Your roster is pretty good. Like, by pretty good, I mean very good. If all goes to plan, on Tuesday, I will have my defense guide for 3v3 go live, which I'm going to go over. It's probably going to be about 40 minutes long at this rate. And I'm going to go over all the different compositions, when to run each one, what to look out for, counters, whatnot. So if you are interested, that could be quite helpful. And again, thank you so much for the $10. I do appreciate it. And I also appreciate all of you in the chat who do jump in and give your opinions, because I'm not here to tell you the best way to do it. I'm just here to start a discussion. Crit avoidance is really nice. Like, I might die on that hill, but crit avoidance is very nice. Characters I like it on. B2, crit avoidance is quite good. I like it on Merrin. One that is really nice, and people were running a while ago. It didn't ever get mainstream, but I do recommend switching it up. QA. QA is actually quite nice for crit avoidance. One, because remember, summons scale stats with the summoners. So QA gives her stats to whoever she summons. That's why you need the high relics to begin with, right? Like I said, she's too low relic, she's sharing the stats. Crit avoidance also will share. And if we go to her kit, crit avoidance is in the mastery. Any character that has crit avoidance in their mastery is really going to benefit from a crit avoidance arrow. To give you an example, I will go to my Merin, which is here, and I'll just show you the increase it can make. So I've also got modded just for health. We had this discussion earlier. You can change it. So if I remove this one, my crit avoidance goes down to 21%. If I add that arrow back in, we are going to have a crit avoidance of 56%. So that's a big, big deal. Honestly, guys, having that extra, it's basically a 1 in 2 chance we avoid the crit. And that's how you can start beating the QAs in 3v3. I've seen some stuff about JMK, all of these. I'm not saying it's the best way, it's just what I recommend. And just so you can see, for the most part, I know some of these have speed, like for example, this one is probably a really bad mod for her. I don't know why I have this on her. But yeah, you're going to want to aim for the secondaries. So you want like defense, health percent, tenacity, anything like that. I've got mine modded for health just for different reasons. You'll see that in a future stream. So, thank you so much again for the $10. Let's move on to Soul Eater. It's the 2.5 hours. I don't know if we're going to do any more after this, guys. I'll try my best, but it is getting a little bit late here. Again, if you want to go back and watch the reviews at any point, you can. All you need to do, guys, is go onto the roster review spreadsheet, and I link everything after the stream if you want an easy, accessible way to review the review I did. And you never know, maybe you'll get another review in like a month's time, and then you can compare both of them, see the differences you've made. Okay, so the next one is Soul Eater, and it's an overall less detailed one. That's all you put. Thank you again for the £2, by the way. I do appreciate it. You guys really, really shouldn't. Like I said, if you guys do become members or do super chat, obviously you get seen on the stream. But I always recommend you guys to spend your money elsewhere, even if it's taking out a .gg membership or Hot Utils membership or something like that. Obviously, if you want to do it, I'm not going to stop you, and obviously I'll thank you. But yeah, I prefer you guys just to watch for free, but you can do you. Okay, Soul Eater. 15.3 million GP. We have an R10 Lord Vader, an R10 Leia, an R10 Ahsoka. Nice. And an R10 Revan. Very, very nice. I like that. I'm not convinced on Leia yet. Maybe one of you can come in and convince me. I feel like Leia doesn't need the R10. I feel like she benefits as it is. I know some people argue because she's a tank, she has a little bit better stats. Ahsoka, I can agree with. Lord Vader, I can agree with. Leia's good, but I don't know if you would have got more value doing Ezra. But still, GLs are GLs. Darth Revan, 100%. I'm on board with that. Obviously, when you're 15 mil, you probably have enough resources to just R9, R8, so many teams, get good mods going, all of that fun stuff. This is a good example of the modding for R2 that we just spoke about. You can see health with speed, Ideally, you want those offense secondaries where possible. This is a really nice mod as well. But that's probably the best way you're going to be able to mod R2. Max health damage from her is where my stance was for Leia. I mean, that's fair enough. I'm not saying it's the wrong thing to do. My argument would be, are you beating a team with an R10 Leia that you wouldn't with an R9? That's where my question is. And I don't have it, so I can't tell you the answer. You have it, so if you're testing and you're finding it way more consistent, then it's worth it. It goes back to when Kylo Ren, when R9 came out. I actually took him to R9 on my other account. And people asked me the same question. They said, why'd you do it? He works at R8. And then It does raise some questions. Obviously, back then there was no relic delta, whereas now there is. So that's also a factor. But when I look back and I reflect, I'm like, well, you know what? I don't actually know if I got that much more value from it. It's a weird one. But either way, Leia R10, Lord Vader R10, Ahsoka R10, Darth Revan R10 are all good choices. JML was a good choice. The only issue is, I don't know why, but his special, the true damage one, is affected by Relic Delta. It doesn't make any sense to me, but it is what it is. Right, we have Grand Inquisitor R9, Malakos R9, Bane, Mace Windu, Jedi Revan R8's nice. How have you got him modded? Health and crit chance. Having health on Jedi Revan is a big game changer. Yeah, those are nice mods. Nice mods for Revan. Kind of want to R10 Kylo. Okay, let's go have a look. I mean, if you want to R10 him, that's all good. Crit damage. Oh, man. 7.8% offense. 20 speed. Damn. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Oh, I did think I recognized. I don't know why. I'm so blind. I knew you was in core as well. When I'm streaming, my brain just switches off. So it's always nice to see fellow guildmates. Anyways, let's carry on. I don't know why I feel really bad now. So okay, Drogon R9, very nice. The rule with Drogon, guys, is when you get to the higher tiers of GAC territory or whatever, you want Drogon to be ideally the same relic level or one higher than Ezra if you run Leia versus anything with Ezra. Reason being, those counters rely a lot on just sniping Ezra out of the gate. And if you're a relic lower, especially with relic deltas, there's a chance that you just don't kill him. There's also a chance you don't kill him in general. But if you don't know how that works, you basically run Leia, Drogon, R2, and then you bring who is it? Adrad, and then you bring Jin. And you'll start off, you'll remove the turn meter on Drogon. Obviously, you want him to be fast because the more TM you remove, the more damage you're going to do. It's like a multiplier there. And then you're going to pass the turn with Jin back to Drogon. Drogon takes the turn, you basic, and Ezra dies. But if you're a relic level lower, there is a chance that he doesn't die and then it falls apart. So that's why you want him to be at least R8, R9 when you get to this level. Maybe even R10. Like, we'll see. I haven't really faced many R10 Ezras or done Leia versus it. So I need to wait and see what other people say data-wise. But if the battles start going south, maybe Drogon becomes a good R10. Right, what else do we have? Chrysanthemum. Tenacity. You've actually broken this up. That's okay. 261. Good protection, good tenacity. You want good tenacity on Chrysanthemum. Okay. What else do we have here? Yes, Drogon on basic is amazing. It always pains me whenever you put the game on auto, because I like to do that, right? Like TB and stuff. Drogon goes and then he does his special and it's like, man, the special doesn't count. It has to be the basic. I always cry inside when I see that. Right, who else should we look at here? Because you just put in for normal. I mean, man, you like have everything in the game. There's not that much we can really say. I mean, we can go to error units. Pretty good. Obviously, you're probably well aware. 75. For those of you who don't know, is the aim because that gets everyone to relic. It's a bit of a weird one because it's like every 3 or 4 levels is then another relic level. So be careful. Don't spend if you don't spend too much money, don't spend all your resources, say for example, taking Maul to 81 and then leaving, say, Stormtrooper Luke at 74 because you might still be the same relic level at the end. So just make sure you check that before you do any upgrades. Right. Mace, Luke, Hondo. How's your Hondo modded? Speed and health with high health or reasonable high health. What do we got here? Health. Man, these aren't 6-star. I know these aren't really the best mods, but those 6 stars would make a big difference. on Hondo. And he's such an important character at the moment. Whether you run him with Balin or run him with any of the pirate teams. How feasible do you think Maul tier 1 is just for level 45 Luke? It's possible. I didn't have a level 45. I had a higher level. Basically, just don't kill any of them and keep on switching the targets, and it's pretty easy. It will take you like 2 or 3 attempts. It's when you start killing them that it goes a bit bad. You want to just keep on hitting different people. Based on what I've seen, some people said it was really easy. Some people said it took them like half an hour, but I think that's just not reading how the event works. But if you can do it, try it. Because you get the Lightspeed tokens, you get all the extra gear, and the second you get more, the percentages you're going to get is just unreal. I mean, I've seen all the people getting banned because Maul just carries them, which is also a little bit worrying. Great Mothers, let's go have a look at there. Speed and health. Okay, yeah, offense is nice. Yeah, the Hondo tier is pretty bad. Let's be real. How's your layer? Offense and potency, yeah, that's pretty good. I think people are moving away from speed. Like I said, I'm still running speed on mine. I think offense is probably the best. Wrecker Mercenary. I'm not 100% sure why everyone runs a speed set. I would honestly go health and defense on Wrecker because he is thick. And the best thing about him is you can run him in so many different teams. Obviously, he doesn't have Galactic Republic, any of those other tags, but he does have the Mercenary tag. You can kind of move him around a little bit. He can do some pretty fun stuff. Oh, that's not the worst time I've had. One of them, but not the worst. Again, in your position when you're, in a big guild, using JML, all of this stuff, just make sure his team, you're kind of already doing it. If you have a character, just take him up to at least R7, like Hermit Yoda. If you use him with JML, R7 at least. I know it's painful, but at least you get less of that decrease in damage. You only won because you went R7 Hondo for the Delta. Didn't think about that. It's a love-hate relationship with a new Bad Batch. I am a massive fan. I'm going to bring up the stats because for me, they are my favorite team that released in the last maybe year or so, which is kind of bold. I'm not going to lie, but I am a massive, massive fan of them because what the new Bad Batch do, 3v3 I'm not really too keen on them, but in 5v5 they honestly beat so many teams they have no right in doing so. Sorry guys, my thing's just a little bit messed up there. So I'll bring it up here and I'll show you guys the data. So I'll start by showing you without Omicrons. I'll filter it without the Omicrons here. Attack Omicrons, go here. If you guys wonder why I'm moving my head, is so I can actually see my monitor properly. Oh, did I put them on defense? No, that's attack. Okay, anyway, let's just move it across. Okay, so this is the data for Bad Batch. 77% win rate. Now, just remember, if you guys don't know what the Omicrons do, I will quickly pull them up here, and I will show you guys. Because if you're a decent player, this is honestly a team worth investing in. I need to show you on my account because I actually have them. So give me 1 second here. Alright, so Omega's Omicron is the following. Whenever an ally is damaged by expose or by an enemy with bonus protection, they receive 1% of their damage based on target practice. This isn't that big a deal. Now, stealthed allies are immune to damage over time, which is insane. Plague, and they can't... and enemies they defeat can't be revived. That's the big one. Also, if they're ever stunned or any ally falls with 100% health, they gain a bonus turn. That also isn't that important. Honestly, it's the prevents revives that's important. On the Crosshair one, this is actually the better Omicron, if you ask me. I think this is a little bit stronger. If there's no Galactic Legend, whenever Crosshair inflicted a debuff, he dispels it against 5% offense, which is insane. And whenever a Bad Batch ally with target practice use special ability, he assists. And the reason that's good is because that makes his shaken come off so quick. So now if I pull back up our... where is it? If I pull back up our stats from earlier... Oh. How do I do it? There we go. I got it here. Right, so teams that this excels against, guys. QA... It's a 76% win rate, and I think that's when people don't do it correctly. It beats every single lineup, and what you're basically going to do is you're going to go in. It's very important. The thing with the new Bad Batch is you need to make sure you're using the abilities the right way around. Firstly, whenever they're stealthed, remember everyone gets undispellable, unpreventable stealth. Whenever anyone's stealth, they cannot be critted. And the best thing is, Omega on the basic is going to give crit avoidance or crit immunity, one of those stats. I can't remember the exact one, to the tank. So Wrecker also can't be critted. And as we discussed earlier, if they can't be critted, the damage they take is reduced big time. Actually, this might be easier if I do a demonstration. So let me do this instead. I'll demonstrate to you guys the damage you can do. So let me go into Squad Arena here. Let's pick Kylo, right? Just go very basic. Kylo's a team. He has advantage. He's always going to crit. I'll show you guys here. Obviously, there's no Omicrons. The Omicrons wouldn't activate anyway in this case. Bring Batcher. And then just for Datacrons, you can honestly bring anything. I normally go defense when I'm using this team, which is normally quite nice. So, yeah, we're going against this, and I'll kind of talk you guys through why it works. It's easier to explain while we're doing it. Yeah, Omega does the cooldown stuff on Nihilus, yeah. So, I'm going to put it on 1x and just watch the damage. It's like nothing. Like, seriously. And you want to keep on remarking because you're going to gain a lot of protection back and all of these other stuff. And the other thing is, once you start hitting someone, you just want to concentrate just on them. Now, just a small thing, because of the stealth, when you use this ability with Bad Batch, just to give you guys an idea, it is going to remove the stealth from the healthiest ally. So when Wrecker's looking low like this, and also modding matters, don't use it. Go for the heal instead. The heal is also the cooldown reduction. But all I'm trying to show you guys is look at the damage. Like, normally people are dying very, very quick here. You can obviously come in and mark down and do all that fun stuff, which we will do here. But just bear in mind, Kylo in particular is going to be messing with that a little bit. But you can see, guys, like the damage is just non-existent. Normally, always use it on yourself, but if you call Hunter, you get the occasional assist and all of that fun stuff. Anyway, I'm not trying to show you how to use this team. I'm just showing you guys like the damage. You just take none. It's honestly beautiful on so many levels. Again, like I said before, when you're using this team, you just need to be careful not to come out as stealth. Because as soon as you come out of stealth, whoever does is just going to die straight away. Alright. I'm going to leave it on auto. And oh, no, I'm not. I just want you guys to look at the damage, though, from Kylo. It's basically non-existent. Which is... This team is really cool. So when you go up against QA, when you go up against Balin, and you're bringing a team like this, as long as you're playing the beginning right, it works really well. You can actually do this in TW, by the way, guys. So look, watch. If I did, for example, this. Now Omega's out of stealth. Watch how quick she does. She may even die in one hit here, guys. Like, we'll see. Give it 1 second. I need Kylo to go. Like, please. Kylo. All right. Watch the damage on Omega. You see? You see the difference crits make? That's the point I was trying to make with the modding earlier, guys. If you prevent the crits, it makes a big difference to damage, like seriously. So that is why I keep on recommending you guys crit avoidance arrows. That's why I keep on recommending you guys anything anti-crit. And yeah, for anyone end game or later game players, new Bad Batch, honestly very good team. Just to finish the point I was making, teams it excels against, if you guys are wondering. QA, you can run it against Balin if you ever face Balin teams. The win rate is lower. The mistake people make, one, is the stealth stuff, and two, you just want to hit only one person. Balin, you just hit only Balin, you'll be fine. You can also beat like pirates, anything like that. You can honestly beat some really good teams, and that's why I like the Bad Batch, because they're not the flashiest team, and the whole Nihilist thing was really cool. But for me, the benefit of them is if you're endgame, being able to beat, say, QA or Balin or one of these teams without drawing a GL, and also in TW, this also works pretty well, is literally a game changer. They're a decent team. I like them. But yeah, that's where I would kind of go there. Back to the actual account at hand, which is obviously very good. You've also got R9 Night Trip already. You're going to have everything done. You need to find out some pirates just to give R7 Hondo somewhere to go. If you get Balin, use him with Balin. Also, just remember, Hondo works with any mercenaries as well. Any smugglers, anything like that. Hondo goes well on an Afra team. If you're looking for a 3v3 defensive team, Afra, Hondo with the Omicron, BT1 is actually a very strong team. Can trip people up. Obviously, if someone takes Hux, TIE Pilot, but some people don't know about that, right? And that's the thing. When you're not in the high-end Zakaiba, people don't know about these like easier counters. Especially in 3v3, because the mode doesn't come around often. People aren't aware of all the different things they can run. Zabo Omicron is pretty cool for other reasons. I don't know if you saw my Balin video. Zabo was actually pretty good in the Balin team. Because he prevents the stealth, he prevents defense up, makes some raid counters a little bit easier. Luthen. I don't know about this one. I've seen some people modding Luthen crit damage, and someone mentioned it in the stream the other day, but I've not really looked into that enough. You hate Hux? Yeah. If people know about Hux, he does beat that pretty easily. Anything else to look at here? I mean, there's not really a lot I can really say, is there? Your account's like... your account's basically max. It's an amazing account. Datacrons obviously is coming along. New Datacron set, I guess. I mean, you have the Datacrons list from obviously the guild. But my personal ones I'd say to look out for, Chopper has a really nice one. And C3PO I'm not really too sure. I don't know about that. I mean, it's decent. But for me, the really nice one is Huyang. He has a really nice one. Follow on Zuckus. Zuckus especially looks really nice because it reapplies the foresight. I don't know if you guys saw my video a few months ago of Zuckus versus Glat. It works like a charm. I even did it in last Grand Arena. It's more of a 5v5 thing, but this will just make it more consistent. Obviously this Datacron set's not as good as the last one, but there is that. You spent a lot of time farming her up as my first Jonah guide too, and she gets shut down by one dude. Yeah, but just wait, because we've got a nice new droid to go in the Afra team in IG-90, who does look pretty good. So just wait and see how it goes, is what I would say there. Okay, closing thoughts for this account. And thank you again for the £2, by the way. I appreciate all you guys and the generosity, as always. Yes, I mean you can use, but I don't know why you would. But you can use. But Forlorn works so much better when you have them in a bounty hunter team. Or I think they're going to work really well in both at San and Django with the newer Sarge. But I can't do any testing for you guys until they actually release those characters into the main game. But that's one of the teams I'm most excited to be trying out. Anyone for high relics? I guess that's the big question. Actually, how fast is your quill? 3 or 4, that's not terrible. I'm curious. I mean, clearly you can have good mods, but I'm curious who's your fastest. Yeah. Okay, so guys, look at this compared to other rosters we've looked at in the past, and look at the split of the speeds. Occasionally you'll have two come up together, but with Ezra, he's a bit of a different one, because the thing with Ezra is you can put him in so many different teams. You can't really count him the same way. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, arguably 5 or 6, 7, maybe 8, maybe 7, 9, 10. So 10 different squads have a fastest character out of those 10 characters. So basically each of those fastest 10 characters that aren't Galactic Legends all benefit a different squad. That's kind of what I keep on going about when it comes to modding. Don't have it where it's jumbled between one or two teams, because going this way can honestly be a game changer. Now, some of these characters, they're modded fast for very specific reasons. For example, Fifth Brother used to be modded really fast because this ability here, if you run it against JMK, will inflict fear on non-Jedi enemies, which does apply to Commander Ahsoka, right? So that's one example. Characters like Echo just need speed as is, same with Balin. But modding them ever so slightly different and all of them having different speeds just allows your whole roster to really flourish. Obviously, there's going to be certain characters that need speed checks, and just bear in mind, if you want to run Great Mothers on Ahsoka, and it's your only possible counter, obviously you have to hit that speed check, so you need God mods, right, on those teams. But if you're someone that has the flexibility to not use that, and doing it would use up all your best mods, then that's a mistake, in my eyes. But obviously, everyone has different interpretations. But this is a nice speed order. There's not really too much to say here. It all looks pretty good. Obviously, if you're in a high-end guild, high-end player, just remember every third relic level is going to add to Jar Jar for the second unique, which you do actually have. It's down here. At the start of the battle, the ally shield generates against 2 stacks for every 3 relic amplifiers. So you're going to gain 2 extra stacks. It does make a difference, especially on offense. It allows you to beat those teams that you wouldn't be able to beat before. It doesn't seem like it make a difference, but honestly, it can in some circumstances. And when you're at the high end of the game, Kyber 1, Kyber 2, or a high-end TW player, it's those very small differences of the game changers. When everyone knows all the counters, and everyone knows how to play the game, making that one change, that crit avoidance arrow, that defense set, that different mod change, those are the things that win Grand Arenas, because they throw people off. Maybe your opponents always run Bane on QA, and you put a crit avoidance arrow on, and he doesn't one-shot, and then you start fighting back. That could literally be the difference in a win and a loss in Grand Arena. So that's where these little changes do come into play. I know they don't affect many of you, but it's always worth thinking about. Alright guys, I would love to do some more reviews, but we've literally spent like 3 hours today, and I am very, very tired. So we did do Soul Eater now. Thank you again for the £2. We also did earlier. We did. I'm just checking the names. Stanimal. There we go. I don't want to get your names wrong, guys. Again, thank you for the $10 there. And we did quite a few of free reviews today as well. Remember, check the spreadsheet if you don't know where you are in the list. For the next stream, we will be starting with. Oh, sorry, guys. I didn't mean to do that. We will be starting. Oh, we didn't. Oh, yeah, we did do Burrito today, didn't we? Yeah, I was going to say we'd be starting with Burrito, but we did them. Next time we'll be starting with Hayden. That's the next one in the list. Alright guys, before we end the stream, I am going to go ahead and find someone for us to raid, so don't disappear too quick. And thank you for coming along, Stanimal. If you've enjoyed it, I do recommend maybe go check out some of the other content. Most of the content I produced in the past has been guide or counter related. Oh yeah, you're next. I'm sorry we didn't get to do you today. It's just the other thing is when I start to get a little bit tired, the review quality goes down, and that doesn't really help anyone, right? So yeah, I mean, if you want to know what sort of content we do here, it's mainly guide, counter related. That's kind of what I enjoy the most, which unfortunately is a little bit harder to make at the moment. Come to some Grand Arena streams. There should be at least 2 next week, but I might have some travel plans, so I have to keep you guys updated for that one. Even if I am traveling, we'll try our best. But just bear in mind, for Grand Arena, I don't like to do... I don't like to make it easy. I prefer to drop battles in the name of testing. Just so you guys are aware. So don't come to the streams expecting to see like the most efficient gameplay ever, because you're not going to get it. But yeah, feel free to come along and chill whenever you can. All right, guys, let's go raid Scribe. Not that they'll probably notice, but let's go ahead and over there. Okay, guys, thank you so much for coming along. Make sure you go say hello in the next stream that you get sent to. Thank you all for coming along today. It's been pretty fun. Thank you for the super chats, guys, and all the subs and nice comments and chatting away. It's made my evening go nicely. There may be a stream tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure, but there will definitely be one next Wednesday for GAC, as long as I'm not traveling. Again, I'll keep you guys updated on the community posts. And if you want to join the Discord server, you can message in there. It's not super active at the moment, but we're on the way to getting it back. And with that said, guys, thank you all for coming. Hope you enjoyed the stream. My name is Glurmit, and as always, guys, have a glurmin day.